Welcome back to Man Down Sports. As you can see from the thumbnail, I want to discuss the Charlotte Hornet and T-Wolves trade that sent superstar LaMelo Ball, superstar point guard LaMelo Ball to the T-Wolves for Nas Reed and draft picks and some other consideration and stuff like that. It's I was shocked by that trade. I got some thoughts about it. We're gonna get into it. But it's a full episode today, full show. You can see the rundown. We got a lot of things we got to get into. Talk about the draft, a couple of teams that caught my eye with what they're doing, and you know what their future is gonna look like. Who went number one and all that stuff. I want to talk about all that. I want to talk about the 3-3-point game in the WNBA from Marina Mabrey. That's the name I given her. So we go, maybe shooting lights out, man. That was phenomenal. Talk about Olivia Miles, the sensational rookie. Caitlin Clark, more drama with that, with the situation with AT in the Phoenix Mercury. Jaylen Brown. I mean, it's a whole bunch of stuff we got to talk about, man. And also later on today, if y'all into the football and ready for football season, we're not doing the football content on this channel anymore. We created a new channel. And if you go to Man Down Sports Football, look that up in YouTube and go over there and subscribe. And I think we have a live show at tonight, 6:00. So we'll be discussing the upcoming season for the NFL. So all y'all football lovers, go over to Man Down Sports Football, give them a sub. It's 2 football shows over there. One is a remote show like we usually do for Full Better Friday, and another one is an in-studio show of just local people that's in our Man Down studio over there in North Carolina. So go check them out, man. Leave comments. Make sure y'all like, make sure y'all share, make sure y'all subscribe and all that stuff, man. We're trying to build that football channel as well. But without further ado, we want to give a word from our sponsor. Underdog Fantasy is the best place to play fantasy sports. I want to tell you about the easiest way to get in on some NBA action with Underdog Fantasy and their pick'em game. Just find your favorite player, or any player for that matter, pick higher or lower on that player's stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in one night. Pick between 2 or 5 players to fill your pick'em entry. Get every pick right, and you can net yourself some serious cash. Use the promo code Man Down Sports and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Plus, now that it's football season, you can follow Man Down Sports as we reveal our favorite picks from week to week. Like I said before, pick your favorite player, pick higher or lower, choose your dollar amount, and win some money. It's just that easy. Make picks, win money. We also want to thank Underdog Fantasy for partnering with us, and we want to thank you for helping the channel out by using Man Down Sports on Underdog Fantasy. All right, y'all. Appreciate everybody coming in. As you come in, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe if this is your first time in here. Shout out to all the members. I can't shout all of y'all out, man, but I will very soon, and we will have some member-only content dropping very soon. I appreciate everybody that's a paid member who's helping us build. I appreciate that 100%. But you don't have to be a member. Just y'all watching and hitting the like button and commenting is enough. So we appreciate all of that. The LaMelo Ball trade. Let's get into it. So the main thing, I'm not gonna go over all the details. We know they got a first round pick out of it. They got some pick swaps, first round pick swaps as well, and then they got some second round picks. But as far as the biggest pieces that move is LaMelo Ball moving to T-Wolves, Nas Reed moving to the Hornets, and the Hornets able to open up a huge $40 million trade exception clause now. So now they can go big fish hunting and get a guy with a $40 million trade exception that they have. And I don't know if that's going to be Jaylen Brown. They might have to maneuver some things if they do. I don't know if Jaylen Brown could be that guy based on what his salary is. But it could be somebody. So this trade really looks good for the Hornets on this front. The trade exception is huge. So if you look at what they got now on their roster, they bought in Kobe White at the trade deadline last season, replacing Colin Sexton. Kobe White, I think, is an upgrade but a lot of people forgot about him because he was with the Bulls, and the Bulls wasn't really doing so hot. Plus, he got when he was with the Bulls, they had DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine. He was a younger player, so the good that he did do didn't really help him grab reins of the team. But then when they get rid of DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, they bring in Josh Giddey, and Kobe White goes down with an injury. So out of sight, out of mind. So people forget how good this kid from North Carolina really is. So it wasn't too hard for the Charlotte Hornets to get him at the trade deadline, and that was a steal, I think, because now he's healthy, and we've seen what he did in the play-in tournament. The only two players that really showed up in the play-in tournament was probably Melo. Now, Melo had some bad shooting nights, but he was out there getting it done. He was out there competing, going down with a fight, right? And Kobe White played phenomenal. So I think they looked at that and was like, we love LaMelo Ball. I don't think they really had super big intentions on trading him based on what he was able to do. He played 72 games last year. So that was kind of a first for him, he kind of turned their corner on his ankles being easily injured, kind of like Steph Curry did. Like, it took Curry some time, to get his strength to where he couldn't, he wasn't twisting his ankles so much. And I think Melo Ball kind of figured that out. He said he had talks with Steph briefly about that stuff, about strengthening his legs and stuff like that. So you could look at that and be like, yeah, things are on the up and up, man. They progressed to a competitive team. They almost made the playoffs. They just, they shot themselves in the foot in the play-in against Orlando. And then you think going into this season, keep what we got. Let's add what we needed, which probably was a big man, because that, Diabate is very athletic, strong, and competitive, but undersized. So adding a big man is what they did in the draft. They went and got the Hannes Steinbach from Germany, who played at Washington, and who Dirk was his idol. They both from Germany, but this kid, and he's only 16. He's not a true 7-footer, but still, that's more size than Diabate. He's a solid. He's not a thin guy. He's not Chet Holmgren. He's a big guy. Kind of put you in the mind frame of what the Thunder got, I'm forgetting names because I'm ready for football season. But Hartenstein, he's got that Hartenstein size. He got a nice shooting form and a nice shooting touch. So he's probably going to develop into a big that can stretch the floor if he's not already that. And then he's got size in the paint. I like it. I like adding that. Then they added another point guard from Texas Tech, about 6'1". I don't know if he'll play much because, especially if LaMelo Ball stayed, it would have been LaMelo and Kobe White in that point guard spot. And they still got Trey Mann, who's unbelievably good, but small. So I don't know if the rookie, if he was a 6'5" point guard, I would say they would need that, and he probably could jump in that lineup over Trey Mann. But Trey Mann is listed at 6'1". He looks 5'11" though, but he's listed at 6'1", kind of like that Trey Burke kind of frame. So I don't know if the rookie coming in is going to get much tick behind Kobe White and Trey Mann, but we'll see. But I really do think the big man will help a whole lot, right? So that's one thing. So I'm thinking in my head, if y'all drafted well, y'all got the big man, y'all probably could have just moved forward what y'all had with LaMelo. But here's the thing that they was probably thinking about. Kobe White played very well. He played very well, and they feel like what LaMelo Ball raised them to, they probably could get to that level at least or above it with Kobe White for less money if you fill the holes up in the other places that you need, like size and big man. So they was thinking, all right, we get rid of Melo. He's our leader. He's our best player. He's our star. He's our ticket sales. You know, he got all the star power, the superstardom. He's our only all-star. All of these things LaMelo is. But where is it getting us? You know, because we got these holes and he's our highest paid player. And once he get past this contract that he's on now, the next contract is going to look like the type of contracts that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum got, like one of those $300 million contracts, which was the same kind of situation Dallas was in with Luka. Like, you know, do we want to pay him this crazy supermax if having him on our roster still really doesn't make us the best team in the league? Right? You got to think about those things. So so that was probably already on their mind. And then him playing 72 games and playing so well this season, so many teams were calling Charlotte, inquiring about LaMelo. So they took calls, they listened, and some of those deals was probably like, man, we can't pass this up, man. We get a $40 million trade exception. We can get a big man like Naz Reid, draft capital, and then we can go out and make a trade and get somebody else. You know, that all the money we paying for LaMelo, we won't be able to do all those things. But if we trade LaMelo and flip him for all those things, we might end up in the same spot, if not better. All right. So that's what the Hornets did good at. So they can roll out next season with a lineup of Kobe White at the 1, Con Knipper at the 2, Brandon Miller at the 3, Miles Bridges at the 4. And if they want to start Naz Reid at the 5, it depends on if he likes playing 5 or 4. We'll see. I would start him at the 5, except for when we play Denver and Joel Embiid. When we play those teams that got true centers, I would start the rookie Steinbach or the rookie from last year, Colebringer. I would start one of those to fight down low with these guys, right? Those big guys, right? So they could roll out with that and then come off the bench with Trey Mann and some of the other pieces they got. Here's the issue. Con Knipper had a phenomenal rookie season, shooting the ball lights out. When the play-in came and those lights got bright, he folded like a lawn chair. He shrunk like bacon in a pan. Whatever analogy you want to use, he was nowhere to be found. So that's one of the guys that you're counting on, right? On top of the fact you have no star power now. So if you want to sell tickets, you have to have a really good team, a really good contender. Like, you have to have a good team if you want to sell tickets, because LaMelo Ball was it. He was the ticket. He was the big ticket, right? Yeah, I appreciate that, Horizon. Yeah, y'all go ahead and hit the like button, man. Let's get at least 50 likes right now, and hit the share button as well. So that's the good and the bad of the Hornets. You lose star power, you lose your best player, you lose your all-star, you lose the image. You know, people was coming to see LaMelo, but you gain size, big man. You get to, be I guess spend your money a little bit more wisely. You know, so that could turn out good for Charlotte. That's yet to be seen. On the Minnesota side, this is what I don't understand about Minnesota. Here's the bad part of the Minnesota piece. You trade Julius Randle, and it looked like on the surface that trade was made because you wanted to free up some money to sign Ayo Dosunmu, who played phenomenal in the playoffs. He and Bones Highland played pretty good, but you had to re-sign Ayo, and I like that. He's a point guard. They needed a point guard. He stepped up. He helped put Denver away. Played phenomenal without Anthony Edwards one game, I think, and without the fact that he was able to come out here and do that was insane. So and the numbers he put up, 40 plus points, all that stuff. So yeah, that's and in the defense, all of that. So they trade Julius Randle because we want to sign Ayo. So you sign him and he's your point guard. So moving forward, it looks like you got only thing you got to do is now slide Naz Reid out of that 6-man spot into the starter spot. Like, that was perfect. Like, you got Rudy Gobert, you got Anthony Edwards. All right, that's good. Julius Randle and you got McDaniels. McDaniels, Edwards, Gobert. There's 3 people in your lineup after you trade Randle, and now you sign Ayo. So now you got Ayo. So the only hole you have in your first 5 is power forward because you just shipped off Randle. That's very easy. Bring in Naz Reid from the bench. Now you got Naz Reid, Gobert. You're very long, lengthy at the rim, can block shots. Gobert and Naz Reid are both agile enough where they can't get tortured on the perimeter and in screen situations. And then you still can space the floor with Naz Reid even better than you could with Randle. So you get more of Naz Reid with Gobert, McDaniels, Edwards, Ayo. Everybody on that squad and that starting 5 plays good defense. Can't lose with that. You think that's it. Now, what Randle, McDaniels, Gobert, or Naz Reid is not is a superstar. So they traded a solid 5 where they could go in free agency and kind of fill holes that they need coming off the bench because you lost DiVincenzo, and now your 6 man who was leading your bench is in your starting lineup now. So what's up, Simply Brawl Dropping? What's good, ASAP? What's popping, homie? You lose all of that and you want to fill that up in free agency, maybe a trade or 2 if you could do it, but your 5 is set. They went and blew that up and was like, bring me LaMelo, and we just signed a point guard in Ayo. He probably thinking that it was gonna be his team. He was gonna have the keys to the team now as the point guard, and now you bring in a better player who's an all-star and a superstar, and somebody that is like he carries as much clout when he walks in the room as Anthony Edwards does. Like that's how he's like a cult. He got like a cult like following. Like LaMelo is a rock star. People just don't see it like that. You know what I mean? In a market like New York or some other place, LA, Melo would be through the roof, but he's in Charlotte and he's still through the roof in Charlotte. All right. Who else could do that? Name somebody else who had Charlotte rocking. It took Alonzo Mourning and Grandmama both to be in Charlotte to have that thing rocking. Who else had it rocking other than LaMelo? Right. So you got to think about that. So the T-Wolves was like, man, we can't pass up a freaking generational player, a rock star, superstar, all-star, who's very skilled, who's a real pure point guard who at times decides, I mean, he's so gifted as a scorer that you kind of forget that he's actually a mentally sharp, pure point guard. People don't like his shot selection, but it's not his shot selection. It's just that he do one-legged shots, and they think that's bad shot selection. That's how he shoots. That's his thing. He's making them at a high clip. So people look at him like, I don't like that, but he don't have poor shot selection. Yeah, he pulls up from 3 and all that stuff, but hey, so does Steph Curry. Nobody made more threes this season than the duo Con Canupa and LaMelo Ball. Con Canipple. Right. So you really got to think about that. So they get a superstar. Now you got a superstar backcourt, but now you got holes and you got redundancy because now you're paying big time money to LaMelo and his backup, DeSumo. You know what I mean? So you're paying him and he's probably a little confused, like, okay, right. Can they all 3 be on the court at the same time? Possibly, but that's small because now that moves Jaden McDaniels at the 4. So what Minnesota has to do is go find a 4, and they still got to find more bench. K-Sap said, do you like the trade? Naz was a good piece, but I think Minnesota can be dangerous. Naz is replaceable. I like the trade. I like it, but it's confusing because why sign DeSumo if you was hunting for LaMelo? Maybe they didn't feel like they was going to get LaMelo. Who knows? Yeah, but that's confusing. Now they need a power forward. You can't roll out next season with McDaniels playing power forward. He's slim, that frame, he gonna mess around and be hurt. So you can't roll out like that. So you got to make some moves, and there ain't a lot of free agents out there there's really not a lot of free agents out there that actually could help them out. It's just not. Let me see. I got a couple of. Oh, okay. Here we go. Right here. Let me see if I can pull up some of these free agents. Right. James Harden, not a power forward. Austin Reeves, Norman Powell, all guard. LeBron James. Do you want to bring in LeBron? Make him play power forward? Jalen Duran's gonna want all the money in the world. They saying he's looking for $40 million. Can you sign him? I don't know. I don't know what that money looking like in the Timberwolves. But I know one thing: whatever Ayo is getting right now is going to affect what type of free agent they can get, because now they're paying a backup point guard starter money. Kristaps Porzingis is a big that can't stay on the floor, right? Vucevic is old and not worth it anymore. Peyton Watson is a 3, but it's a lot of teams that can use him. Walker Kessler, a 7-foot center, that ain't gonna work well with Gobert. So there's a no there. John Collins, you might can go John Collins. Yeah, you might can go John Collins. Maybe John Collins would be someone that Minnesota could use. Not bad. Tobias Harris, always played 3 and 4, but he's really a 3. That's tough. I don't know. I don't know if that is one of the best fits. But you see, it's scary hours out there in the free agency. It ain't a lot out there. Marvin Bagley Jr. or the 3rd. I like Marvin Bagley. I could mess with Marvin Bagley. But yeah, that ain't a lot, dog. That's tough. That's not a lot at all. So when you think about who won this trade, which trade do I like, which team got a lot of question marks, I think the T-Wolves got more question marks than the Hornets do. T-Wolves got a whole lot, because everything that the Hornets got is filled at every position. They drafted a 7-foot center last year that can play. They drafted a 6'10" center this year that probably can play even better than the guy that they got last year. And they got Naz Reid. So they got size where they used to didn't have size. So they got 3, let's call them 7-footers, but they're close to it. They got 3 7-footers now. And then they got Diabate, great athlete, great defender, great rebounder, great rim runner, great all of that, right? So you got 4 bigs in rotation. If you want to add Miles Bridges and say he's a big, I call him a wing. So you got 4 bigs in rotation. That's serviceable, very good, right? Steinbach, Carl Brenner, Naz Reid, that's 3, and then Diabate, that's 4. You got that's good. I've never seen it that well in Charlotte. I think the best big that we've ever had, other than Grandmama and Lonzo Mourning, if you're going after that, we had Al Jefferson for about 3 or 4 years when he was past his prime, but he still looked phenomenal on the floor. Al Jefferson was that dude, man, for about 3 years, but he ain't had no squad around him. And I don't remember no other bigs, you know what I mean? I don't count Emeka Okafor, but he was okay with the Bobcats. And we had Dwight Howard for 1 year in Charlotte, 1 year, and he played phenomenal, and they didn't re-sign him. And then he went to Washington, and I don't know where he went after that, but went to the Lakers after that. But we had Dwight. We could have kept him, right? I keep saying we. It was we back then when I was a Hornets fan. But so yeah, you got that situation in Charlotte that I like. I don't like the fact that Melo was a superstar that wanted to stay in Charlotte, and that's the one you decided to trade. It's kind of like when Kemba Walker wanted to stay in Charlotte. But I understood that a 5'11", 6-foot point guard that's your number one scorer who has never led you to the playoffs is now eligible for a max deal. And Michael Jordan was like, man, we just can't give you a max deal. I'd rather send you somewhere where you can win. Like, why give you a max deal so you can lose here? You know, go get, close to that, but play for a contender. So they did him a favor. And I understood that more. But every other superstar, they want to leave on the first thing smoking and go somewhere to a bigger market. Grandmama went to New York. Lonzo Mourning went to Miami. Right, that's just how it usually go in Charlotte. But LaMelo wanted to stay, and the Hornets saw they had other plans, and it was like, yeah, we're gonna flip you, big dog. We're gonna flip you for somebody, man. So let's get into some other things. Let's see some of these comments. This man don't know about the Hornets. Kemba took D-Wade 7 games. Okay, well. You tell me what year that he took him to 7 games then, because I don't remember that. If he did, that's a slip up on my part. But Kemba played the Heat in the playoffs. That's interesting. Let's see if that's true. The Heat in the playoffs? The Heat? Was that when Al Jefferson was there? Maybe that's when Al Jefferson. I don't know. Let's see. I remember them making it with Al Jefferson one year. All right. 2013. Okay, playoff numbers. What team is this? 2013, 2014. Let's see. Who do they play? Come on, playoffs. Show me the playoffs. He said they went to 7 games with Miami. It looked like they got swept, homie. Oh yeah, I do remember that. First round sweep. Yeah, they didn't go 7 games, big dog. But yeah, that's a 4-0 sweep by Miami. Not taking them to 7 games, big dog. 4-0 sweep, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years with the Hornets. 1 playoff berth in 2013, 2014. So that means 2014 to 15, no playoffs. 15 to 16, no playoffs. 16 to 17, no playoffs. 17 to 18, no playoffs. I mean, come on, dog. Come on, big dog. Who did they play in the 15-16 season? Let's see this. Did he make it twice with them in the playoffs? Oh, yeah, he did. Oh, they did go 7 games in 15-16. There you go. So he made the playoffs 2 times out of 8 years. But the point remains, okay, that's a good catch, So they played Miami 2 times, and he made it to the playoffs. But that's in 8 years. So the point remains, when you get to the point where you're trying to re-sign him for max money, the point is not that, they never made the playoffs. The point is giving someone max money that's a 6-foot point guard that's your number one scorer, and you give him max money, which means I'm going to be limited in what help I can bring him, is not the best idea. Like you giving me 2 playoffs in 8 years, and both was first round exits. That's not who you get a max money to. You move on from that player, which so the Hornets and Michael Jordan was smart for moving on from that player, from Kemba Walker. But it was an emotional thing because Kemba wanted to stay. And the Charlotte area loved him. The Hornets loved him. The fan base loved him, which is similar to LaMelo Ball. But the only difference with LaMelo is you were able to build around him and put pieces around him. That wasn't possible with Kemba. For some reason, we just couldn't get the right pieces with Kemba. And a lot of times that happens when you have that small point guard who's your number one scorer. Like you're gonna need a big, like you see what Brunson just did with Karl Anthony Towns. That makes sense, right? We couldn't get that in Charlotte for Kemba. So it wasn't the smartest idea. It wasn't the smartest idea to get him all of that money. But I think LaMelo, I mean, he had around him what could have got them to the next level in this next season coming up. So they just go miss that opportunity, man. Charlotte was rocking. I hope it's rocking it just as much this coming season as it was last season, because last season was it was a movie in Charlotte for some of those players and some of those fans, man. It was dope. All right, let's get into the draft. There was a couple of things that I liked about the draft that I wanted to talk about. The Spurs, the Thunder, I like what they did. We'll get into that, but I want to get into who went number one first. AJ DeBancer going number one to the Wizards. Now, so I talked about the draft before the draft went down, and my thoughts on the Wizards taking Peterson one was that Trae Young, they just re-signed for a lot of money. So he's part of their future. Trae Young is one of those small point guards like I just got finished talking about with Kemba Walker in Charlotte. And he's a guy who at times in Atlanta was the number one scorer for their team. That dynamic is very tough. Small point guard, that's the guy we rely on for points. I think it's just easily shut down in the playoffs, and you know it really works against your team. Then on the defensive end, there's so many big guards out there. You mess around and get a Halliburton, who's a 6'3", 6'4" guard. You get a Benedict Mathurin, who's not even really a starter like that, but he's got size, 6'3", 6'4" guard. You know, you get a Luka at point guard. You get a Cade Cunningham. You get a SGA. You get these big point guards. You even get Jalen Brunson with his frame. He might be the same height as Trae Young, but his frame is so much wider and than Trae Young's frame is. So him even guarding that guy becomes a challenge. So your defensive scheme becomes something that you have to figure out when you have a Trae Young on your squad. So bringing in Peterson, who is listed at 6'5", he just looks like he's about 6'2" for some reason, man. He's listed at 6'5", 6'6". He looks 6'2", 6'3". And I don't know why he looked like that on the court, man. When I watch him play, I'm just like, man, is he really 6'5", 6'6"? He don't look it, man. He don't look 6'5", 6'6", man. So I haven't seen him be exposed defensively to say he's a bad defender, but I hadn't seen him locked down for me to say he's a good defender either. So I don't know what Peterson is, but I know NBA wings, size matter, right? And so you got a 6'9" DeBancer who can guard wings. He can guard. I think he can guard 1 through 4 at 6'9" with his mobility and size and strength. So that might pair well better with a Trae Young. And now you put Trae Young on the floor and the rookie from last year, George, at the 2 possibly, or either Trey Johnson at the 2. All right, let's say Trey Johnson or George, one of those guys who's a big guard. Then you got DeBancer at the 3, and then you got AD at the 4 and Alex Sarr at the 5. AD and Alex Sarr are rebounding shot blockers, rim protectors. They're going to help Trae Young out a lot, because if you do get past them, now you got to deal with either AD or Alex Sarr down there. But then DeBancer is 6'9" at the 3, who, I mean, he probably could take the more tougher assignment on offense, so Trae Young don't have to take the tougher assignment and have him slide somewhere in the corner, like they do other players like Luka and sometimes Steph and sometimes all the time Caitlin Clark for sure. I think that works better with Debancer than it does Peterson, even though I think Peterson was the better player. Peterson's the more complete player. He's the better player. We don't know 5 years down the line if that's still going to be true. Maybe Debancer, his ceiling is just higher than Peterson. But right now, completeness, um, um, the holes in Peterson game, you just can't really find them other than the fact that he kept cramping up last season in college. That's the only negative you can find, man. His jump shot is pure from the three, from the free throw, from the mid range. It's just unreal, man. Like, this dude can play. This dude really can play. But the measurements and the intangibles and stuff like that, you look at AJ for that, right? So I think that was a good pick for the Wizards. They went with a safer pick, a guy who hasn't been injured, who did play just about all his games, who averaged almost 30 last year. Like, I mean, the dude was pretty good, and 6'9" at that. And then you got Peterson going number 2. And what I like about Peterson going number 2, because I think if Peterson went 1 and Debancer went 2, I think there will be redundancy at the wing positions, because Ace Bailey at 6'8", 6'7", 6'8" is kind of very similar to the player that AJ Debancer is at 6'9", and them coexisting would be different. Like, it would be really different. Like, because I think Debancer, if he's going to take a backseat to someone and kind of play the role that Cooper Flag played in Dallas, because would I say he took a backseat early on when Jason Kidd had him playing the point guard? He was really playing sit up man more than anything, right? So and then he came in there with the mindset that, okay, this is AD's and Kyrie's team, even though they're not on the floor this year, but that's his mindset. Debancer has that same thing in Washington, where, okay, this is, instead of Kyrie and AD, is Trae Young and AD. So he has that mindset. Okay, this is their squad. I get in where I fit in and do my thing. But my size and and my skill set is such an asset to those two guys that it's not even going to really look like that I'm just out there. If he went to Utah, I don't know what the plan would be, because you got Ace Bailey, who's just as good, if not better, who was the rookie last year, who had to work his way into the lineup. Now what do? You bring in this pick, and does he just jump in the lineup over Ace? Like, how do you do that? And then you got Jaren Jackson Jr., you got Walker Kessler if you re-sign him, you got Lauri Markkanen. At the point guard, you got Keontae George. At the 2, you'll either probably have. I want to play Ace at the 3, but if Debancer was there, you probably could play Ace and Debancer 2 and 3 with George Bailey, Debancer, then go probably Lauri Markkanen and then Jaren Jackson, which is cool. Which that's cool too. But what I really think is better is not that muddy when you bring in Peterson. Peterson is a pure scorer. Ace Bailey is a really good scorer, but he's an even better athlete, right? So playing off the ball, catching lobs, all that stuff, man. When he gets to his chance to pull up and get to his spot and pull up, I think that's dope. But I think Peterson being able to play the 1 and the 2 interchangeably with George, and Ace being able to be off the ball and do, it's gonna be so beautiful. And then his shooting ability is gonna open up so much for that team. So I think Utah and Washington really did a good job on who they picked based on what they already got. I really do like that. But here's an interesting thing. So this is what it's gonna look like. Trae, Keyshawn George, and I always get Keyshawn George and Keontae George in Utah kind of mixed up. Not their play, but just their names. I get them mixed up, right? So So you got Trey, you got George, DeBansa, Davis, Sarr, and then for the Jazz, you got Keontae George, Darren Peterson, Ace Bailey, Larry Markin, and Jaren Jackson Jr. Heck of a squad, right? Another interesting thing is who these guys look up to, right? I thought it was funny when they was interviewing them, when they was like, who do you play like? Who do you model your game like? All this stuff. They asked Darren Peterson that. They asked AJ DeBansa that. They asked Caleb Wilson that went to Chicago number 3. Listen to who they model their game or who they look up to.
Who do you play like?
I play like a mix of Tracy McGrady and Shea.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
I know you've identified Shea Gilgeous-Alexander as one of your NBA comparisons. In what way would you say your games are similar?
I think 2 big guards and 2 guards that use their body to score well, and I would say unguardable.
My favorite player is LeBron or Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I met LeBron. I worked out with LeBron before. It was really cool. I learned a lot offensively and defensively, and just learned a lot about how you can carry yourself on and off the court. I'll probably be Shea. I like his bag, so I think that would be fun to watch and guard.
All 3 of them spoke very highly of Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I think that's interesting. I just wanted to throw that out there just based on the smear campaign that the media put on him during the playoffs when they was playing the Spurs and that crybaby Wemby. I thought that was funny. But Caleb Wilson from North Carolina, see, people kind of forgot about him because he got hurt toward the end of the season. So, out of sight, out of mind, right? But, man, people that watch this kid work out, people that watch him play and all that stuff. Now, when you watch him play, like, he's long, he's tall, he's athletic, agile, he got jumping ability. And it looks like a version of Kevin Garnett. The problem with that is, though, is he's been working on guard skills for a while. So the pull-up jump shot, the turnaround jump shot out of the post, and and handling the ball. So I'm really shocked, not shocked. I'm really excited to see what he turned into in the league. I want to see his rookie season because he's going to the Bulls, and I don't think the Bulls got really no competition for him to go out there and actually do what he do, right? I don't think there's a lot of competition for him to go and take the reins on that team. Like, it ain't gonna be Josh Giddey. Who else? I mean, who they got over there that is gonna be like, oh nah, you can't be it. He's gonna be it there. And even Cooper Flagg, when he got there last year with Dallas, he wasn't it. They had other players that was pretty good. He wasn't it, and then that he had to build up to it. But now, all right, we got to move forward with Flagg. They get rid of daggone Anthony Davis, and Kyrie didn't play the whole season, and he might end up getting traded this offseason. So and they bring in a new coach. They get rid of Jason Kidd. They got a new GM. So it looked like they're starting everything over, resetting, and we're just doing everything from the foundation of Cooper Flagg. We've planted our flag, and it's Cooper. So now they're going to build up for him. So this season coming up is going to be the blank canvas for Cooper Flagg, where we can see him showcase everything. Caleb Wilson has that opportunity to do that in his rookie season. He's going to go out there and he ain't got no competition for shots. So we might see him really kind of outperform AJ DeBansa, who's going to be, I mean, that's a challenge. Like, that's Trae Young and Anthony Davis's team. And then in Utah, Peterson is out there. I think Peterson got a chance, but I mean, you got to think about what Jaren Jackson Jr. is, a defensive player of the year, and he's been an all-star, and he's a polished, big that can score, but he can play the background a little bit as well. He played the background with Ja. So I don't think he minds doing that, but does Ace Bailey mind? And with Keontae George being the point guard who showed a lot of promise last year, who can score, got some wiggle and all that stuff, is Peterson going to have the ball that much? Like, so all of that is going to have to be figured out. But none of that is an issue for Caleb Wilson in Chicago. Caleb Wilson is going to come out there, and it's his squad. So you got to look out for Caleb Wilson. He might end up being a guy that's in the front runner for Rookie of the Year next season. And I was listening to Derek Fisher talk about Caleb Wilson on his podcast, and he said that everyone talked about Cam Boozer. No, Cam Boozer went third, not Caleb. Cam Boozer went third to Memphis, but everybody talked about Cam Boozer, Peterson, and DeBancer. They talk about DeBancer's length and his athleticism. They talk about Boozer as far as how polished he is, and they talk about Darren Peterson as far as how good of a scorer he is. And Derek Fisher said when you study and observe and watch Caleb Wilson, he's all three of those guys. He's got the length of DeBancer. He scores it like Peterson, and he's polished where he don't try to do anything outside of what his ability is. He's polished like Cam. I thought that was high praise from Derek Fisher for sure. Thought that was high praise. But the two teams that I wanted to kind of highlight and what I seen coming out of the draft, I like what the Thunder did. So the Thunder had injuries with AJ Mitchell and Jalen Williams, which kind of hindered them against the Spurs, amongst other things, right? Against the whining Spurs and whining Wemby. That's what they call them, the whining Wemby. But that's not the only thing that they seen where they can improve. I really do think that Chet being so thin frame against Wemby, Wemby having this mental edge over him, I really do think that kind of concerned them. And it was like, we don't want to get in a situation where we have to rely on Chet again. We want some more size on Wemby. So they went and got a 7'4" guy from Michigan who led his team to a championship, right? So they drafted Ade Mara from Michigan, 7'4". I like him. He can pass. He can post up. He can shoot a little bit. You know, he gets vertical at the rim and block some shots. It'll work. And they was able to re-sign iHeart. The thing and Bennett Sturts, the guy that's the shooter. I think that's a good ad. I don't like the fact that they had to lose Wiggins and Isaiah Joe. And I want to say they may have also lost Kyron Williams. I don't like that, man. I really do think those guys were important. I really do think Wiggins should have got more burn in that San Antonio series. He could have helped. But they just had too much at that position, at that guard position. They just had too much, and they really wanted to utilize Jared McCain's shooting ability. And he appeared to be the hot hand, but I think the Thunder fell in love with Jared McCain a little bit too much, because he is a first round lottery pick from 2 years ago, right? So he probably kind of deserves that type of respect. But when you got players that you brought in that was undrafted or that was drafted late in the second round, mid-second round, and stuff like that, you can get away with saying, hey, this series ain't gonna be your series. We go play, like, you can come to Wiggins and be like, hey, we gonna go with Isaiah Joe tonight. Or you can go to Lou Dort and say, hey, we starting Case and Wallace, you coming off the bench. Or you can go to Case and Wallace and say, hey, we're gonna start Jared McCain, you coming off the bench tonight. That's what they was doing all season. They was doing it all season. And another thing they was doing is there was load managing guys where Caruso he'll miss 2 games in a row for some injury that they might as well just say rest, because they don't really be injured, so they'll pick 2 guards that'll sit out for like a week. They might miss 2 or 3 games, and then when they come back, the other guards that was playing in their place, they'll miss some games. And then on top of the DNPs, and like I seen what they was doing all season long. They was load managing everyone except SGA, and there was one other player, the Jalen Williams, the big man. He wasn't low, but most of the guards was getting rotated in and out of the lineup, getting rest because they really rolling them for the playoffs. But with Jared McCain, they just seemed like they liked Jared McCain, especially when he had those really good games. They liked him so much that he just stayed in the rotation during the playoffs. And it was some games I really felt like I really believed that Wiggins would have been a really good option to come out there and play. And he didn't get that opportunity. And I know he probably feel like, it's easy to swallow that pill when y'all win. But when y'all lose and you look over and see the minutes that you was getting last year got swallowed up by Jared McCain, and he just got here, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. So I hate to see Wiggins and Isaiah Joe go. But Isaiah Joe, man, where did he go? Detroit, and Wiggins went to what did Wiggins go to? Yeah, I'm forgetting where Wiggins went. Or did Wiggins go to Detroit? I don't know, but it sucks, man. But I thought they addressed a couple of good things in their draft, and I like what the Spurs did as well, because they went and got two big men. They wasn't 7-footers, but they 6'9", 6'10" but they tough, really tough big man. So now you don't have to sit Wemby down and bring in Cornette. And Cornette come out there and get cooked and out tough. You got two tough dudes now, but you getting younger. You got rookies now. Are they even go get in the line? Are they go break the lineup? But I mean, they broke the lineup with Dylan Harper as a rookie, so and Castle as a second-year player. So who knows? You know what I mean? So they like to play their young guys and put stuff on their shoulders. So I like what the Spurs did. I like what the Thunder did. I like what the Jazz and the Wizards are moving forward as well. I'm gonna do something real quick. I'm gonna open the phone lines up, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all call in. Let's talk about these trades. Let's talk about the draft. Wiggins is in Atlanta. Thank you. Wiggins is in Atlanta. So Isaiah Joe went to Detroit, right? Wiggins in Atlanta. Isaiah Joe in Detroit. So with Wiggins going to Atlanta, I'm interested to see what they gonna do with Jonathan Kuminga. Are they gonna re-sign him? I know they like him in Atlanta. But Kuminga, he got an opportunity. Like this is his first time in free agency, for real. Because he didn't really get to test it that time where he signed back with the Warriors, because he was a restricted free agent then. So it's a lot of teams that a trade just happened. Sheesh, what trade just happened? Horizon said McCain and Mitchell replaced Joe and Wiggins. Yeah, that's true. I get that. But dang, man, they were so good, and they got better. Like Wiggins got size. So here's my thing, right? Whenever you needed, whenever you was playing a team and it was beneficial for your guards to get in that were smaller, like Casey Wallace or Isaiah Joe, to get after it defensively, but also be lethal as a three-point shooter, that's good. But then sometimes you might be playing teams that got bigger guards. And then that's when you bring in Wiggins that got the size, who still can play defense and still fill it up from three. So like you getting threes and stretching the floor with either guard that you play, but depending on what you need that game, do you need the size or do you need the quick attacking guard that attacks on D? All right, what do you need? So no, come on, Charlotte. He probably went in that front office and raised hell about the LaMelo Ball trade. Miles Bridges to the Suns for Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal. Sheesh, boy. Sheesh, man. Golly. Miles Bridges for Grace. And I just got the text in my group chat for it. And breaking news on Underdog. Miles Bridges to the Suns. Okay. Let's talk about Miles Bridges. Nah, it's confirmed. It went down. Underdog just reported it. So Miles Bridges to the Suns. All right, so that lineup I talked about. So just forget Miles Bridges in that lineup. So now you got Kobe White, Con Knipple, the Con man, Brandon Miller at the 3, and now the 4. You might slide Nas Reed at the 4. Maybe Diabate still starts at the 5, or maybe you start one of your footers. You know, the rookie from this year or the rookie from last year. Anthony said Charlotte wants white boys. Con Knipple and Grayson Allen is almost the same player. Con's better. They both Duke players. Con's 100% better, but yeah, they doing a facelift out there in Charlotte. They gentrifying the Hornets for sure. Yeah, we want the leaders of this team to be. We don't want them to be YNs. I guess I respect it. Yo, that's big. That's big time. Yeah. So what does this do for the Hornets? Another athlete. Now you got Jalen Green and Booker, and Dylan Brooks, and now Miles Bridges. Can they all start together? Can Jalen Green be the 1, Booker be the 2, Dylan Brooks be the 3 with Miles Bridges at the 4? I don't think so. So which one of them coming off the bench? So that's tough. I mean, they get more exciting. They get some athleticism and a lob threat and all that stuff, man. He's expanded his game to the 3-point line. But who's going to the bench? Because you're not gonna start all 4. They re-signed Mike Williams as well, so he's probably gonna be their starting center. But what's up, Beach Girl? But yeah, who going to the bench is because you're not going to have Jalen Green play point. You don't want Devin Booker to play point again. I hate Devin Booker at the point. I really do. I don't like Devin Booker at the point, but yeah, that's an interesting. They're gonna have to figure out how they go maneuver that, but maybe Miles Bridges is a 6-man now. So man, the NBA is giving us they're giving us a lot this summer, this offseason, and a lot to look forward to when the season starts. That's gonna be entertaining. I like it. I respect it. I like it and I respect it, man. All right, let's move to WNBA real quick before we get on the Jaylen Brown conversation. I don't know if y'all noticed or if y'all seen it, but about 2 games ago, the Tempo, one of the exchange, not exchange, but one of the expansion teams, Marina Mabrey, who used to play with Angel Reese in Chicago, requested a trade, ended up, I think, with the Connecticut Sun, and then, bounced around, and now she's with this expansion team with the former coach of the New York Liberty, who led them to the finals, but lost her job. And now she's the coach here, and she's letting Marina let it fly. She's always been a good shooter, but she's giving Marina Mabrey the green light. I mean, her light is greener than Green Lantern. I mean, she has a green light out of this world, and it's a good green light because she shoots the ball at a high clip. She's not going 3 for 13 from the 3 and stuff like that. Like, she's really shooting 40. If I look it up, I'm pretty sure it's about 40% or above from the 3. And in the game that I'm talking about, she scored 53 points, which is a WNBA record. Right? She tried to break it. It was a little Bam Adebayo toward the fourth quarter because they was beating the team by 20 plus points. But when she got, I want to say she got about 46 points all within the offense naturally. And when she got to 46, I really do think she felt so hot that she just wanted to see how far she could go. So I think from 46 to 53 was a little bit forced. And then she tried to get to 55 to break the record, but it just looked too clownish. So she just came out of the game with like 2 minutes left. And she didn't even try to get the record. But so she tied the record Asia Wilson has 53. She scored. Liz Cambridge, who used to play in the WNBA, who kind of got banned from the WNBA, she had 53 as well. And like, she is unguardable. She's more unguardable than Brittany Griner because she's the same size as Brittany Griner in height, but she's more solid. But it's not like chubby size. Is like a muscular. Like, she's quick, fast, athletic, big, tall, and really skilled. Right, like she's Cardoso on steroids, but her attitude was so bad. I mean, she knocked the girl out overseas in a game. Like, she punched her during the game. Like, she was really bad. Right, so they kind of banned her, and she still got something in the tank. Man, I would love to see Cambridge back in the league. Man, she was unstoppable. I mean, 53 points. So Asia, Mabrey, and Cambridge are the only WNBA players to ever score 50 plus. And they all got 53. And this is what Mabrey said after the game.
You joined Asia Wilson and Liz Cambage as the only players in WNBA history to score 53 points. Wow. What does that mean to you?
I mean, Asia's the best player in the world, but
Yep.
she's the best of our game. So to say that I'm in any record book with Asia, I'm never living it down. Anybody else? If I scored the same amount of points as they did one day. So, she's set a standard for our game that is really hard to keep up with, honestly. And to be in any conversation that she's in is really an honor.
I like how she pointed out, yeah, I'm in the same conversation with Asia Wilson. She's the best player in our league by far. Let me see. Let me see what I can
joined
get.
Asia Wilson and Liz Cambage as the only players in WNBA history to score 53 points. Wow. What does that mean to you?
I mean, Asia's the best player in the world, but she's the best of our game. So to say that I'm in any...
Yeah, the best player in the world, Asia Wilson. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows she's the best player in the world. But let's get back to Mabrey. If you haven't watched this game, at least go back and watch the highlights. I know a lot of people don't watch WNBA. I do because I like basketball. And they got a good brand of basketball over there. Right. So go back and watch the highlights. The way this girl was shooting, this is the crazy part. How do I say this? The way this girl is playing this season, she had another game. She like a couple of games before she scored 53, she had 37. She had another 40-point game. Like, she's on a tear and shooting the lights out of the ball, unconscious, logos, all that stuff, right? But for all these people that tell me that they love Caitlin Clark because she do what no other girl in the WNBA or no other girl can do, which means shoot deep threes and shoot logo threes and be exciting. When they say that's why they like Caitlin, because nobody else can do it, and you point to all these girls that can do it and have been doing it, it's a choice whether you want to jack up logo threes, though. I think for all the people who are playing winning basketball and their team is at the top of the leaderboard, the less logo threes they shoot. Everyone knows that's a horrible shot. Everyone knows it's a horrible shot. It's just not a good shot. You can always get a better shot. No one in their right mind that coaches at a serious level has ever wanted their player to shoot a three from the logo. Like, there's other shots way better than that we can get. That's how coaches think. We can get that logo three anytime we want to. Why now? Why did you just do that? Right? Get me a better shot, especially my point guard. Give me a better shot. So I'm not glazing Mabrey because she's shooting logo threes. I'm pointing this out because if the people who say that Caitlin Clark is the only one that can do that, I want to challenge them to watch Marina Mabrey all this season, and I want to see if you become a new fan of Mabrey and say, oh, I like Mabrey just as much as I like Clark, because the stuff that y'all say Clark is doing, Mabrey is, or the stuff that y'all want to see Clark doing that she did in college, that she hasn't really been able to do at a consistent basis in the league, Mabrey is actually doing it at a consistent basis. So my question and what I would want to see is, do the Clark fans now become Mabrey fans? And if not, then you get to a point where you realize they're not in love with Clark for the logo threes. They're in love with Clark for something else, because if it was the logo threes, and then you would like everybody who showed logo threes, but they don't. They just like her. It's another reason why they're liking her like that. And we'll get to that later. But just to remind y'all or like give y'all a rundown of what's going on with the WNBA, by far the best teams in the league is the Minnesota Lynx, which is led by a freaking rookie, Olivia Miles. Their best player, Nafisa Collier, still hasn't played a game yet. She had surgery on both her ankles this summer. She hurt her ankle really bad in the playoffs, missed the rest of the playoffs. They was the favorites to win it. So they might have missed out on the championship last year because of her going down with that ankle injury. And so she's yet to play in the season. I don't know when we go see her, probably after All-Star break. But the rookie is leading them to the best record in the league. That's phenomenal. The New York Liberty, led by Breanna Stewart, who is still one of the best players in the league, is another contender. They hadn't had Sabrina Ionescu too much this season. She just came back, but she missed some time. But now she's back, so they go get rolling. And then the Aces, led by A'ja Wilson, who's the best player in the league, who they have Kennedy Carter, who's one of the best point guards in the league, who hasn't played in like 6 or 7 games. She's dealing with some injuries right now. So those are the top 3 teams. The top players in the league by far is A'ja Wilson. There's nobody even close to A'ja. But after A'ja, if you want to go with not considering the injury that Nafisa had, I think Nafisa is very easily the second best player in the WNBA. And then the third best player in the WNBA is probably still Breanna Stewart. But then maybe it's Paige Beckers, right? So that's probably the top 3 players. That's the top 3 teams. I think that's pretty much what's going on. We just had Angel Reese set a record for the fastest player to 1,000 rebounds. I think she broke the record that was held by Tina Charles. So I think she did it in 10 less games than Tina Charles, right? So 1,000 rebounds for Angel Reese. That was quick. The Chicago Sky, Camila Cardoso, she just set a record for going 100% in the game. She was 13 for 13 in the game, 20 plus points, and that was a record. 13 for 13 was insane. That was a phenomenal game. But the Fever, man, they just beat somebody by 30 last night without Caitlin Clark, which I think is fascinating. What was fascinating about that is what Caitlin Clark's negatives are her defense and her turnovers and her shot selection. Her shot selection is like turnovers sometimes. Her long logo threes that she missed turn into long rebounds that turn into fast breaks. So they're kind of like pick 6 turnovers. But imagine averaging 5 turnovers a game as the point guard, who also takes bad 3-point shots that leads to what appears to be pick 6s on, like turnovers, right? So really, if she's taking 5 bad shots a game, and you count that as a turnover, she's really averaging like 10 turnovers a game. But 5 turnovers is by far the most in the league. And they didn't have her last night, and they beat a team by 30 and only had 9 turnovers. They usually have like 18 turnovers a game because their point guard was getting them 5 every game, sometimes 7, sometimes 8. They only had 9 turnovers, so they took care of the ball. They still assisted at a high clip. I think they ended up with probably like 23, 24 assists, which is around about what they get when Caitlin plays. So without Caitlin, the assists stayed about the same, but the turnovers went down and they won easier. All right, that's something to watch out for. I got a list of the top 10 point guards, though. I'm sorry. let's go with the top 10 shooting guards since we're discussing Marina Mabrey, and Marina Mabrey is highlighted for the tempo. I got Marina Mabrey at number 6 for shooting guards. Now, forgive me if Skylar Diggins is not considered a shooting guard. I consider her a shooting guard because her playing with the Sky right now, they got 3 guards who are interchangeable, whether they're handling the ball as the point or playing off ball, and that's Sydney Taylor, who's a rookie, who was undrafted, who is probably the second best rookie in the league right now. Maybe the third one. I would say AZ Fudd is the second. But Sydney Taylor is a guard that's playing really good right now, but she's only started 6 games. She didn't start at the beginning of the season, and then she cracked the lineup due to injuries, and now she's a starter, and she's probably gonna be the face of that team. She's that good. But Skylar Diggins and I want to say Natasha Cloud and Sydney Taylor. So I don't know who the point guard is, but Skylar Diggins, she does it both. I'm counting her as a shooting guard. So I got her at 10. I got AZ Fudd, the rookie, at 9. She's gonna climb that ladder. She got off to a slow start. She didn't start the first couple of games. They wanted her to earn it, and then she finally earned her way on the floor. And when they're looking for, and she's one of those guards that you can bring off screens on catch and shoots. Like you can bring off an off ball screen, off a curl action, or whatever the case may be. She's a real shooter. She's like the Klay Thompson of the league. I really like AZ Fudd's game, man. So she's going to climb this ladder by the end of the season. Arike, who plays on the same squad with AZ Fudd, is still a microwave scorer, but the way Paige Beckers, AZ Fudd, Arike Ogumilale, and the big power forward that they got, Jessica Shepard, the way they're sharing the ball. One game I seen Arike get 30 plus. Another game I seen Paige get 30 plus. Another game I seen AZ get 20 plus. So they're taking their turns, and Paige is picking her spot. She's not forcing everything. It ain't the same person every single game. So, but Arike is still lights out talent, right? So I got her at 8. Khalil Copper is a one of the best female athletes in the league. Like when you watch her play, the way she move, run, jump, the way her body move is very much like a very athletic guy. Like she's the only girl that really moves like a guy. Like it's hard to explain, but you got to see it. And when you watch Khalil Copper play, she's quicker, faster than most everybody. Real athletic build. When she gets up for layups, man, she's high. For a guard, like I really like her game. Her 3-point shot is improved. I think she's like in the top 10 scoring all time. Like she's that good of a player. She plays defense. She's tough. She's a really good player. I got her at 7, which is kind of hard because if this was last year, I would have her higher, and I would definitely have her above Marina Mabrey. But the way Marina Mabrey is playing this year is unreal. So I got her at 6 above her. But then when we get above Marina Mabrey into the top 5, Courtney Williams, who's playing for the best team in the league, the Lynx, the mid-range assassin, got the 3 ball. She's really good. And I like the fact that she got off the point guard to give it to Olivia Miles as a rookie, because Courtney Williams ran point guard last year. She went off ball and gave the ball to the rookie. I like that she did that, and she's still scoring. Brittany Sykes was a really athletic girl, kind of like what I just explained from Khalil Copper, and she was like top 3 in scoring this year, but she went down with an injury. It looked bad because there was non-contact and she was holding her foot. I thought it was Achilles, but they came back and said it was her foot. Something happened to her foot. They didn't really say what, but they didn't say it was Achilles, and they said that she'll be back this season. So we might see her over the playoffs if the Mystics make it. They're not playing too well. But Brittany Sykes at 4, Jackie Young with the Aces, self-explanatory if you've been watching the Aces. Alicia Gray, left-handed, got size, can get to the hole, can dribble, can shoot the 3, play a little bit of defense. I really like Alicia Gray. and she got the dream playing really good. But the number one shooting guard in the league, the person that nobody can stay in front of, who's so quick, she's like the Kyrie Irving of the WNBA. If you just seen her make somebody fall the other day and pull that left-handed three, like her three-point shot is so automatic, man. Her mid-range, her pull-up, like, man, she's so fast. She gets to the rim. She's just undersized. She got a point guard body, but she plays. I mean, she's just like Kyrie, but left-handed. This girl can hoop, man. Play for the Fever. She's really the best player on that team. She's just not the most popular. So go figure. But that's my top 10 shooting guards. So talking about Marina Mabrey, I just wanted to show y'all where I think she's at. Man, scoring 53 points is huge, is big. But these girls above her, they are a freaking talent. They are a talent. Let me see what these comments are saying. Alicia over Jackie, though. You don't think so? You don't think yeah, Jackie's good though. But you got to give credit to a girl who's leading her team. I think that's harder to do than what Jackie is doing. Right? I don't think I've ever seen Jackie lead a team yet. Like Alicia led the Dream last year, and she's leading the Dream this year. Even though Ryan Howard is helping out a whole lot with the scoring, but that's Alicia's team. She's the number one. So Alicia is doing for her team what Asia is doing for Jackie's team. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, so being a number one, I got to give you if it's close, I'm gonna give it to the person who's leading as a number one. That's what I'm gonna do. Kelsey Mills or something else. I don't care if you don't like the Fever or not. Now Kelsey is crazy. Yeah, they're not giving her enough credit. Kelsey needs her flowers. Fever playing with more synergy and more team ball. 100%. Doesn't Melo play out of the confinement of the Rand offense, or you might be talking to somebody else? Timberwolves on paper, but if not equal to OKC. Sheesh, really? They got too many holes, brother. They got to fill those holes first. But they about to sell some tickets, though. Hey, y'all hit the like button. Hit the like button for me. Hotspot Casino. Just tuning in. That Minnesota trade is trash, and Ball is just an okay player, but I don't see Minnesota going to anytime soon. We'll see, man. He might be able to prove you wrong. Women's small ball, should they change the diamond of the rim as well to make it legit? No. I like what I'm seeing from the women's basketball. They don't need to change anything. They don't need to change the rims. They don't need to lower it to 8.5 feet or none of that. I don't want to see no woman dunk or none of that. If I want to see dunks, I'll watch the NBA. If I want to see good basketball, I'll watch the WNBA. Like the WNBA, they still got to be stationary on their screens. They're not letting you do moving screens every play. The NBA, they just relaxed it. Like, hey, man, you can move on your screens. You can push. Bruh, I hate this screen in the NBA that they're allowing. If you're screening, the player's coming this way and I'm screening, I just hate it. I seen Wemby do it a lot in the playoffs. Where they get right up on a screener, their player used the screen, the defense will go under the screen to try to meet the player, and they're allowing the screener to push in the back before they roll. It's like if you do it in one motion, like it's one motion, I can push and roll, to make it look like it's like a maneuver. They're cool with that. They're cool with like I just hate the screens in the NBA, man. They're all illegal. They're all illegal, and it's just okay. The WNBA is not letting you do that. Alicia has taken a step back this season, man. I'm not gonna hold you. A step back. Yeah, because Ryan Howard is there. Jordan Canada is there. Angel Reese is there. Taking a step back, but your team is top 4 in the league. I don't mind that. If taking a step back helps my team, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with if I take a step back to help my squad, because that means somebody else is taking a step up. taking a step back and there's nobody else to take a step up to make us a better team, then that means that you're failing. But they're a better team with her step back. All right. Phenomenal rookie. Let's talk about this phenomenal rookie, Olivia Miles. Kevin Garnett went on record when he tweeted while he was watching one of her games, man, this is the best rookie that we've seen in the NBA or the WNBA. Like, he gave us some high praise. And Shannon Sharp and Joe Johnson was talking about it on Nightcap, and Shannon was like, man, just get her the rookie of the year now, and she's probably going to be first team all WNBA as well, which he's right. So let's hear how they talked about it.
Statistics beat the Lynx 84-79, but our girl Olivia Miles finished with 22 points, 6 assists. Despite the loss, she got high praise for KG. Olivia Miles is one of the best rookies in all of basketball, NBA or WNBA. Olivia Miles is averaging 18.3 points a game, 5 rebounds, almost 6 assists over 16 games, shooting 54% from the field while powering the Lynx to a 13-4 record without Nafisha Collier. She's the fastest WNBA rookie to reach 300 points and 75 rebounds and 75 assists. She's special, man. She got wiggle, Joe. She got wiggle like a guy. And I think that's the greatest compliment you can pay a young lady. Yeah. Because you watch her and you watch out the fluidity in which she moves. Like, now that's not a woman's basketball player. That is a guy. She grew up playing against guys. She had to be able to move like this.
She can stop on the dime. She gets you leaning one way. She got them subtle hitches in her game. Like, she really can play, bro. Like, when you watch somebody, it's like, you know, even in like a combine setting, you probably wouldn't see a whole lot. But once you put them out there on the court and watch them play 5-on-5, playing live action and how they read and react, that's her. She can read and react to pick and roll great. She great in isolation. And man, she killing in the WNBA. She fun to watch.
They might as well just go ahead and hand her
rookie of the year.
The rookie of the year. And guess what?
Absolutely.
She's gonna be a WNBA, all NBA, WNBA player.
Oh yeah,
all WNBA player in a rookie season.
I can see that. If they keep winning, I know they lost today, but if they keep winning, okay, Ocho. Oh yeah, no question. Yeah. You know they reward you for that any damn way.
Man, they're not lying. Olivia Miles is so good. You know what's crazy is Olivia Miles is one of the best point guards in the WNBA as a rookie. Last year, Sonia Citron, who played for the Mystics, was one of the best point guards in the league as a rookie. And next year, when Hannah Hidalgo comes from Notre Dame and enters the draft, she's going to be potentially one of the best point guards in the league as a rookie. And all three of those players were at Notre Dame together. Now, Olivia Miles ended up transferring the same year that Sonia Citron went into the draft. So, for 1 year, all three of them was on the same squad. And they're all three the best point guards in the country. They had 3 point guards on their roster trying to make it work. Unbelievable. Sonia Citron is one of the best. I compiled my top 10 list of point guards in the league. And we're talking about Olivia Miles. You see her highlighted. I got her number 3. I still got to give it to Paige Beckers, even though I think Paige Beckers plays off guard just as much as she played a point guard. But, you know, AZ Fudd is definitely not the point guard, and Arike is definitely not the point guard. So I got to give her credit as the point guard, even though she comes off the ball just as much as she's on the ball. She's the best point guard in the league. And I don't even know if I mean, she's just so good, dog. Man, it's unreal, man. The inside game, the way she handle, the way she can go. Like, she's the only point guard in the league that can go in the post and get buckets. She goes in the post in that area where Kobe and Jordan used to go, back to the basket, catch it, and give you a fade, a up and under, something. Like, she's insane. She's insane good. I respect that. That's what I like so much about SGA and what he was doing, because he would go in the post, especially last year. he got away from it a little bit this year, but last year he was in that mid post a lot, which made him a little different than Anthony Edwards, because Anthony Edwards wouldn't go down there as much. But that's Paige. Kelsey Plum is leading the league in scoring, 26 points a game. She was at 28 at one point. Now she's injured, but I got to give her credit as the second best point guard in the league this year. And as a rookie, Olivia Miles is number 3. Sonia Citron, 3-point shot is so on point. Her the way she handled the ball and take care of the ball, the way she can pass. She's got a nice size frame. She plays defense. She's a leader. She don't take a whole bunch of bad shots, not a whole bunch of turnovers. She's number 4. Sabrina, number 5. Those are my top 5 point guards right there. Sabrina Ionescu, Sonia Citron, Olivia Miles, Kelsey Plum, Paige Beckers. That's top 5. Then you get to the 6. Chelsea Gray, who they call the point guard. I still got her there. She's falling. These younger girls are taking over. Chelsea Gray is going to continue to fall as she just, goes further and further past her prime, and these younger guards get closer and closer to their prime. So Chelsea Gray continue to drop, but at number 7, Sydney Taylor, I just talked about her last segment, point guard for the Chicago Sky, who was an undrafted rookie who didn't play a lot of minutes early on, didn't start, but played so well she ended up in the starting lineup, and now she has, ever since she's become a starter, she has the highest usage rate in the league because she's playing phenomenal. She don't miss a lot of shots either. Playing phenomenal. Y'all gotta go watch Sydney Taylor. She was really good. Caitlin Clark at 8. That's self-explanatory. The logo 3. The player who takes on the role of distributing the basketball for her team, who gets a lot of physical defense against her and all that stuff. There's a lot of girls that's above her. Now, Caitlin could easily be at 6. Caitlin can easily be at 5. That 5, 6, 7, and 8 spot, I think, is all debatable. But the top 4 is not debatable. There's nobody in this league that's at point guard that's better than the top 4. But Caitlin at 8 is just how I grade players. I think Caitlin has an argument to be considered at that 5th spot. She can be debated with Sabrina. But this is how I grade players. This is what she landed at number 8. Kennedy Carter, number 9. She's a bench player that can easily start, but Chelsea Gray at number 6 is the starter for the Aces. So Kennedy Carter, she's not going to be able to showcase exactly what she can do, but just my observation and how I grade players, she's easily a top 10 point guard in the league. And Jordan Canada. Now, number 10, Jordan Canada, there's other point guards. Is like, if you look at Flau'jae Johnson, who's a rookie over there in Seattle. Seattle is a team that, they're very young. I mean, you look at Flau'jae, she's a rookie. They got our fam who got drafted this year. She's a rookie, and she's about 6'5". 6'5", 6'6" is equivalent to 7 foot in the WNBA. So when you got 6'5", 6'6", or 6'7", you got a Wemby or or a Chet. You got that type. You got a 7-footer when you got a 6'5" player. The Seattle Storm has 2 of those players, and both of them are generational talents. Dominique Malonga was a 19-year-old rookie last year from Paris. She's like the Wemby. Now, listen. Now, I don't know if she's from Paris, but she's from France. But she was a rookie last year. She's really long, wiry, athletic, can dunk, can dribble, can post, can shoot. This girl is so good and only was 18 or 19 last year. So the consistency playing against these grown women is not always there. You'll see a 25-point game from her, then you see a 10-point game, right? So them growing into a all-star, then a superstar, they're probably 2 or 3 years away from that. But you can see promise when you watch that game. See, when I watch Seattle play, I'm just looking like, man, this is about to be insane. So Seattle has Dominique Malonga that they drafted last year. Then this year they came in and drafted our farm, who's Dominique Malonga 6'7", our farm is about 6'4", 6'5". So they got two twin towers. In Seattle, and they're both good. Now our farm can shoot the three even a little bit better. She can post up, she can pass, she can dribble, she can block shot. Like they both can do everything, but they just both got different body types. Like our farm is more muscular, and Dominique Malonga is like more wiry and slim. But when you look at them both on the court at the same time, you be like, this is instant. They both can go inside and out, and then they both block shots. So I'm looking at it like, dude, when they figure out how good they are, the league is in trouble. There's no other team that got two of those players that young, that athletic, that good. And then you got Flau'jae Johnson, who's playing lights out. She just beat the Dream last night pretty much by herself, had 26, couldn't miss, putting shots all in Angel Reese's face. You know, they played at LSU together, but they're not friends anymore. I don't know what happened. But Flau'jae is going to be on this list pretty soon. It might be this season, right? It might, no, I'm sorry, this list right here. It might be this season. She might be at that number 10 spot or that number 9 spot. That's how good Flau'jae is playing. Got to give it up to her. Got to give it up to her. All right, comments. He said, Paige is what the media want you to believe CC is. Facts, yeah. Our farm. Well, what's wrong with our farm? You don't like her? My bad. There's your shooting guard list. I would say Paige is a 2. Yeah. I struggle. Kind of. When I'm doing lists like this, I'm like, man, what is Paige? Is she the 1 or the 2? But a lot of these positions at the guard, 1 and 2, it really be interchangeable in the WNBA for real. So I just got to I got to give her credit for what she's listed at. She's listed as a point guard, so I rate her as a point guard. Sydney Taylor over CC. I'm not mad, but you playing with fire. Sydney Taylor is unreal, man. No, Olivia. Oh, okay. That's what you were responding to that. This is the beginning. You got Hannah and Jude. Boy, listen, dog. Let me pull this list up again because this is insane. So this comment on screen, this is just the beginning. You got Hannah and Juju coming. Listen. And then you got Sarah Strong, and then you got another girl. Oh, I can't remember her name. You got another girl at Texas. Oh, my God. This girl at Texas, man. Her mid-range game is unreal, man. She's an off guard, though. My God. Man, somebody please tell me that girl name at Texas. Yo, Sarah Strong, the girl from Texas, Hannah and Juju. I don't know if Juju go come out because she do have another year eligibility because she missed one whole season for injury. So I think that's a redshirt year for her. So she only really had her freshman season. Did she have a sophomore season? Did she get hurt in her sophomore season? No, did she get hurt in the tournament her freshman season? I want to say she got hurt in the tournament her freshman season. Last year would have been her sophomore year. This year would be her junior year. I might be wrong. Maybe she got hurt her sophomore season. Last year would have been her junior, and this year would have been her senior. But I think this is her junior year. I double check. So she might not be coming out. I hope she do. The only reason why she would stay is if they don't win the championship. If they win the championship, she might come out. If they don't win it, she might stay. Also, she was on track to break all of Caitlin Clark's records when she was in her freshman season, and when she got hurt, they kind of messed it up. So to stay all 4 years to get those records could be cool. I don't know if it's all that important, but I guess she signed with Clutch Sports, so I guess it's depending on what Rich Paul and her come up with, on what's best. But if you look at this list, Paige is here to stay. She only in her second season. Olivia Miles, definitely. Kelsey Plum, she's still young, but these young talents like Sonia Citron coming in. All right, so let's talk about the people that's go phase out of this this list. Just because these younger kids are coming in and they're just going to start moving up this ladder. Kelsey Plum, Sabrina, of course, Chelsea Gray, they're all going to start dropping. And then Jordan Canada, she's good, but these girls coming in are better, so she's going to fall off that list very soon, right? It might be this season when Flage move in it. But Kelsey, Chelsea Gray, Sabrina, they're going to start falling down this list. And then you got to add in people like Hannah Hidalgo and Juju Watkins. And then Flage, who got drafted last year. So imagine bringing in those three players start to get in this top 10 list. You know what's crazy? Who else is going to move down that list as well? Caitlin Clark is going to move down off that list. Caitlin Clark is going to move. Her name is Madison Booker. Yes, thank you. Oh, my God. It's so much talent coming into this league, man. This is unreal. Yo, golly. Madison Booker is so good, dog. I think she's better than Sarah Strong. Okay, thank you. So she messed it up her sophomore year during the tournament. Okay, thank you. So last year was supposed to be her junior year. So this year would have been her senior year, and she would be coming out of the draft. But I think since she sat out that whole year, that's going to count as a red shirt. So if she come out this year, she's coming out still with 1 year eligibility left, which is the same thing that Paige did. Paige hurt herself her sophomore season, same thing, ACL, and missed her junior season. And then when she came back for her senior year, she still had 1 year eligibility left, and they didn't win a championship. So she came back, and then they won the championship. So I think Paige was supposed to be in that same draft with Caitlin Clark, which would have made things very interesting. But she stayed an extra year. So Juju might just do that for the championship like Paige did. She might stay that. She might stay and fulfill her eligibility that year that she still got. So I feel like Clutch gonna push for her to go straight to the league. They just might. Bro, CC is slowly becoming a bench player. You know what? We got to talk about CC, dog. Michaela Blake's. I'm not familiar with Michaela's game yet. I got to go and watch Michaela. But I'm not familiar with hers yet. But you know what? So there's three people that's gonna come in here: Flage, Juju Watkins, and Hannah. All three of them played really good defense. Caitlin plays 0. On top of being the world leader in turnovers, on top of the bad shot selection, on top of the fact that she feel like her best shot is a logo 3 with 20 seconds still on the shot clock. That's her best shot. Like if somebody was like, "Hey, the game is tied. Get a ball to Caitlin. What shot are we going to get?" Her favorite shot, her best shot is a logo 3. Somebody else trying to get to the mid range and get to a spot and rise up. She trying to get a logo 3, and everything up with her is playing to the crowd, playing to the crowd. Right? There's nobody else in the league that does this right here. Come on, who does that? Dog? Who does that? Like, like if you get in the arm wrestle with a girl and y'all going at it, she's the only player that goes to the crowd and does this. Ain't nobody about to help you. You actually got to fight that battle on the court yourself. Why are you looking for the crowd to help you? She need that backup. That's why I know that the fans that attack players on her behalf, I know she looks at them as like her front line and her soldiers. Like she appreciates that and loves that. Like, yeah, go attack these players because they beat me up on the court. Go attack them. But let's have a conversation about that. let's talk about Caitlin Clark because Boomer Esiason, who's a former New York Jets quarterback in the NFL, does talk show radio in New York. Don't watch the WNBA, which every time I hear someone's opinion and the first thing they say, because they feel guilty talking about something they have no clue about. So they always give you this disclaimer because they know if they have a strong opinion about something and then you challenge it, they got to give you a disclaimer. But I don't watch. So, I mean, I don't, I just know that they tell me that Caitlin Clark's the best, but I never heard of this Asia Wilson girl. So when you bring up Asia Wilson, they're like, hey, they cop a plea. So every time they start the conversation, they always be like, well, I don't know much about the WNBA, but you get what I'm saying? I hate when they do that. We go get to some people that's going to do that too. But let's start with this Boomer clip, because based on what we just seen in the Fever game a couple of games ago when they played the Phoenix Mercury, and there was a loose ball, Caitlin Clark went to the ground for it, and Alyssa Thomas and one other player from the Phoenix Mercury, maybe DeWanna Bonner, kind of dove on the floor to try to get the ball. The ball slipped out, went to someone else. So the play, turned into a three-point shot. But right there on the floor was Caitlin laying on her back, and Alyssa Thomas was on top of her. And when she was trying to get up, the video shows that her fist was on her shoulder. She was getting up like the way, when football players tackle running backs or sack quarterbacks, and they kind of get up off them on their shoulder pads. You know what I mean? Like, it's a way to show you, I'm bigger than you. It's a way that's what football is about. Football players always, talk about how they try to degrade a quarterback when they actually sack them. I hate quarterbacks, man. They get up on them instead of pushing off the ground. They pushed off the quarterback, right? Where it looked like Alyssa Thomas was pushing off of Caitlin, but it's sweaty. They sweaty, and her fist was on Caitlin's shoulder, pushing off. And when she pushed, it slipped into her neck for a split second, not even a second. It pushed into her neck. And then she got up and the play went on. Well, social media took the still frame of her hand on her neck and just pushed it out to the media and said that this is intentional and, this is violent. Like people in the comment section was calling her George Floyd. This is our version of George Floyd, get your hand out of my neck and stuff like that. And I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me. And now this whole Caitlin Clark and this race issue has, blown up again. And it's getting out of control, right? Listen to how Boomer talked about this.
But yesterday, in a big game against Phoenix, Caitlin Clark got mauled a couple of times, which is kind of par for the course. She's one of the better players in the league, and that's how you handle good players, is you get physical with them. We saw Victor Wembanyama got roughed up in the NBA Finals here and there. Well, there were two plays that really drew the ire of their head coach, Stephanie White. One of them being where Alyssa Thomas, during a loose ball scrum, appeared to push her fist into Caitlin Clark's neck. Now, when you did it in real time, it didn't look too bad, but in slow-mo, it looked horrible. And then about 30 seconds later, Caitlin Clark's on offense, shooting a three-pointer, and there was an aggressive closeout, like in the NBA. She comes down on her ankle. It looked really bad. She fell on her back, and the head coach was really upset about it. Fast forward to today, and Alyssa Thomas, the one who put the fist in the neck, she has been suspended by the league for an aggressive foul there. And more than anything, the discourse surrounding Caitlin Clark and how she's being treated by her WNBA peers has really gone off the rails once again. Most notably by Boomer Esiason. Take a listen to what he had to say about the situation.
If I were Caitlin Clark, I would seriously consider going to play overseas somewhere and get the royal treatment and get real money.
From the Saudis?
From somewhere. I mean, there's international.
She can't go to the Saudis.
Well, she can't go to the Russians either, as we saw that, Brittany Griner got stuck there.
She did. Well, yeah, in jail.
Right. So
can't take that money from PIF.
But a lot of the women actually do play, in European leagues because they supplement their income. but now supposedly their income is going up here. And I know that Caitlin makes a ton of money off the court in terms of endorsements, and rightfully so. But I think that there's a petty jealousy, and she's a straight white basketball player. And she is not being treated with any sort of respect whatsoever.
What a shocker, Boomer.
I'm gonna pause it there before I get into the response from the Odd Couple and Rob Parker and his talk show host. And I want to respond to this comment on the screen that says Alyssa Thomas is dirty. Don't make excuses for her. She chokeslammed Angel Reese off the top rope. That is true. But what that means is what Boomer is saying is not true. Because if Alyssa Thomas is considered a dirty player and she chokeslammed Angel Reese, then it's not about Caitlin Clark being a straight white woman. So what you just said really proves that Boomer is talking nonsense. And everyone who is repeating the type of things and the talking points that Boomer is pushing out there are all talking nonsense as well. This is not about her race. This is not about her being straight, allegedly, because we don't even know if she's really straight. This is not about jealousy or none of this stuff. So what Boomer is saying is absolutely insane. Nobody is trying to attack nobody, but no one's coming on the court and saying she's popular, she's straight and white, so let me, foul her hard. Because why did Alyssa foul Angel Reese hard? Can you give me that answer to that question, TMD? Why did if Alyssa is considered dirty to everyone, why are we calling it a racial thing when it's done to Caitlin Clark? Right? I think that goes to show that the notion in America is white people should get a different treatment or more highly regarded treatment. And when you treat a white person just like you treat everyone else, they think that's racism. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're supposed to treat white people here in America. If you treat them equal to everyone, or if they're here and you treat everyone else just like them, like equality in a lot of people's brains in America for white people means racism. But because Alyssa Thomas is giving Caitlin Clark the same treatment that she gives every player in the league. So how's that racism?
Esiason. She's a straight white basketball. I want to say something.
Yeah, I know
this
you
is
do.
This is so up his alley. And despite all the money that she's making and all this other stuff, he's gonna throw out her sexuality. Hey, Boomer, why don't you name all the non-straight players in the WNBA that you just wanted to talk about? He is the worst of the worst. Boomer, if you thought he was a bad quarterback, he's a terrible talk show host. All he does is push narratives that he feels good about or that he feels great. This whole idea, the idea that she's making way more money than everybody else, but she should take her ball and go somewhere else. But did he have an example of where she could go? No, he didn't have an example because there's nowhere to go considering all the money that she makes.
And not to mention, Rob, the reason why I told Rob G, I said, make sure we add that, was because this is the problem. This is exactly the problem with Caitlin Clark, and why sometimes I feel bad for her in the sense of she's just out there trying to hoop. But it's people like him who add, well, she's straight, white, female, as if she needs to be protected or should be honored or we should all bow down to her.
Is she the only straight white basketball player playing in the WNBA?
Sabrina Ionescu, who is in the league, and you could argue is better. You got other players as well. I just don't understand. Like, what are we doing here? Kelsey Plum has been playing better. Now, she's out now with some injuries. It's that type of sentiment that makes this where every other play, every other game is divisive. It's all the bros and the men and women are the problem. There's all that going on right now because Caitlin Clark is a really good player in the WNBA. That's it. She's a really good player. She's not the best, probably not even the top 8 or 10 right now. There are other people who are better. And I mean, if you watch the games,
the reason the league is where it is, you could kid yourself all you want.
I don't disagree with that, but what are you supposed to do now when you play the game and I'm playing to win, and I foul somebody hard, or
No,
I'm checking
I'm not
somebody
talking about that. But
Right,
I'm
so
talking
I'm
about
not
trying to.
No. Caitlin Clark. Let me explain. Caitlin Clark's incredible. She was a phenom in college that led to the WNBA. She deserves all the accolades that are coming her way. She's talented. But what I'm saying is now, third year in, coming off an injury, she's still got stuff to prove. She hadn't been, she's not one of the best players, and they're acting as if she's supposed to get treatment like a top 3 player, and she's not that. People who get treatment, Michael Jordan, you hear all the old stories, you covered the league. Man, we knew when Black Jesus walked in, because he was the best player. Magic and Bird, they were the best players. She's not even the best, and everybody's supposed to worship her and bow down. She goes and she plays hard. She talks smack. She gets in people's faces. I don't mind it. I love it. That's what we say we want in our sport. Passion, competition, toughness. And I go out there and play it daggone more than the men lately, and we have issues with it. And my whole point is it happens. Rob G, you brought up a great point. Wembanyama is the next big thing in the NBA. They rough him up a little bit. It happens when you're the guy. Steph Curry, MVP 2 times in a row, run around. What do they say? They rough him up a little bit. It's a part of the game, and it gets old, the narrative that they're just beating her up and they're jealous. Well, no, she's a really good player in the league. We're trying to beat. She's chippy, I'm chippy. We're competing.
So here's the main point, and he made a lot of good points as well. He made a lot of good points. I try to touch some of them, but here's the main point. I think people know that Caitlin Clark is not getting tough defense played on her or getting roughed up. I think everyone knows it has nothing to do with race. I really don't think people are that dumb. What I do think is that they want their thoughts about the basketball in the WNBA and Caitlin Clark to be true, and their thoughts were, and we got to be real about this. What her fans thought when she was at Iowa and in college was that she was the best basketball player ever. And then that her going into the WNBA, she was going to be the superior player, and there was no players in the WNBA that can match her. That was their opinion and their thought. The reason why they thought that is because they never watched college basketball for women, and they never watched the WNBA, so they didn't know how good these women were. They didn't know how good they were. So when they seen Caitlin Clark play, they had just assumed that, that's nobody better than that. That's a logo 3 she just hit. Who else? What other woman can do that? Only Steph can do that. That's what their thoughts was. So they would just automatically equated her to being superior to the WNBA. The reaction from that, from any competitor, I mean, basketball, football, all this stuff, like these people have the minds of gladiators. You have to be hyper competitive. And part of being hyper competitive is also being hypersensitive to anybody that doubts you. Like Michael Jordan got doubted by being not selected for varsity when he was a sophomore or freshman. He didn't make varsity as a freshman or a sophomore, and they picked a senior over him. And he's so hypersensitive that he held that grudge all the way to his Hall of Fame speech, to where it fueled his fire getting cut. That's all they talked about in every documentary talked about of Michael Jordan, every book that ever was made, every book report somebody made, all mentioned him getting cut from varsity. And then you found out that he was a freshman that got cut. You supposed to get cut as a freshman. Ain't nobody taking no freshman over no senior at the same position. The senior was 6'6". Jordan was 6'1" as a freshman. They took the 6'6" senior. Jordan's mad, and I took that personal, to the point where he invited the coach and the guy that he got picked over to his Hall of Fame speech just so he can stick it to him one more time. If that's not hypersensitive and hyper competitive at the same time, that's what these players are. So imagine a Diana Taurasi, Asia Wilson, or any player that's sitting here listening to the entire media and the entire fan base for Caitlin Clark say she's the better. She hasn't even played a second in the WNBA, but she's the best WNBA player ever and better than all the girls in the league right now. So what do you think the All-Stars are saying? Did you see what they just said on ESPN? They're on the phone. Did you see this? Okay, I got something for her. Which is the same thing that happened when LeVar Ball went all on social media, all on his platforms, all on ESPN platforms, talking about how Lonzo Ball was better than LeBron and better than Steph Curry, and he gonna be best thing since sliced bread. And what you think those NBA players was thinking while he was saying all that? Oh, his dad just wrote him a check he ain't gonna be able to cash. Hyper competitive. And the crazy thing about it, it almost seemed like the NBA was like, okay, we'll play that game. And the way they scheduled the Lakers games that season, where they seen Pat Bev game 1, Pat Bev was in his prime as a defender, probably one of the best perimeter defenders in the league at that time. Pat Bev, you didn't think he took that personal? No one said Pat Bev's name. LeVar Ball said Lonzo was better than Steph. He didn't say anything about Pat Bev. Why did Pat Bev take that personal? Because he's a competitor. And when you see how Pat Bev guarded Lonzo Ball in game 1, it ain't nothing compared to what you see. Or what we see with Caitlin Clark ain't nothing compared to what Pat Bev did to Lonzo Ball. And Lonzo Ball got that for like the first 3 or 4 games. Everybody was after him. Everybody was after him because we want to prove a point. So when the girls of the WNBA want to prove that point, that ain't no way in hell y'all about to disrespect us like that and act like this league ain't advanced and it's not the best female league in the league. I mean, in the world. That's no way that you're not gonna get them to want to compete the hardest against her just to prove to y'all. But when they competed hard against Caitlin Clark to prove to y'all that she wasn't better than them, y'all called it racist. Y'all called it jealousy. Y'all called it unfair. That's not what it is. I'm a competitor. You gave me a challenge. You said, here's the best player that ever played women's sports coming into the league. Oh, that's a challenge to me. My radar and my antennas is up and it boop, 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 boop. Oh, the best player ever? Challenge accepted. Let me show you what I can do. That's not jealousy. You gave them a challenge. That's why they made it to the league. Nobody else they played against in high school or college would accept challenges the way they did. That's why they made it to the league. These are the best of the best. They didn't get the best of the best by saying, oh my God, she's got millions of fans. Let me not compete against her hard so we can grow the league. They're not thinking like that's not competitors are not on the floor thinking about growing the league. They're on the floor thinking about winning the game. And you want them to have a split brain to say, well, I want to compete, but not when we play the Fever and CC because CC got fans that want to see her do Globetrotter shit on the court. So I gotta let her do Globetrotter shit. So I'm a competitor against every other player and against every other team, but against the Fever and Caitlin Clark, I have to be the generals while they be the Globetrotters. That's what y'all want. Y'all asking them to be the generals. And freaking Boomer Esiason is just this. I mean, he's not the first person to say she needs to take a ball and go home. She needs to lead the WNBA because they treating her unfairly and they not appreciate her. She needs to go overseas and play. What is that going to prove? Y'all not even gonna like her overseas because let's just be honest. The reason why y'all liked her so much at Iowa was because it was a great underdog story. It's a sport dominated by black females. And the schools like South Carolina, UConn, and all that stuff, they got a lot of black females that are really good. And those schools are powerhouses. So to see someone that is a white female that's not a black female, so the majority that dominates the sport are black, and they're playing at schools that are known for dominating the sport. So you got the black athletes and the top schools merged together, dominating the NCAA. And here you got the underdog school and the underdog player who's actually competing with these girls. So it just wasn't the logo threes. That was part of it. It just wasn't how much she was scoring and how exciting she was making it look when she scored. It was the fact that she was carrying an underdog school. She was an underdog player beating what seems like Goliaths of schools and Goliath of players. And then you throw the racial component in it where you see a white girl who's actually beating black girls and then telling them about it, taunting them, telling them to shut the fuck up, pushing people to the ground, doing all these things, taunting, playing to the crowd, doing all that stuff. Oh man, so in a way, everyone who has issue with gay black females or black females in general, there's a lot of things I want to say to a black female. I've been told off by a couple of them, but my way of punching them back is through Caitlin Clark. Because when I see Caitlin Clark beating a black female ass, that gives me some satisfaction. So they want to, by way of Caitlin Clark, get at people that they don't like. So it's really just like the political climate in America where you might differ politically on certain things. And, you know, all the things is getting stirred up at Fox News and stuff like that. And other only thing it is give me the talking points that I can go and fight the other side with. And every time Caitlin Clark performs and plays well, there's more talking points that they can use. Now the politics have moved to the WNBA, and they're just using that to attack wokeism, pride, queer, gay, black. They get to attack all those things with Caitlin Clark. But if Caitlin Clark can't come out here and play well, then they lose their voice because they don't have a leg to stand on. So they need Caitlin Clark to come dominate so they can continue to push back at wokeism, black, all this other stuff, and whatever they hate. I want to continue to get my aggression off on them, but I can't do it if Caitlin is not doing Caitlin-like stuff. So what they're going to do is talk as much trash as possible to try to force the WNBA to change things and to use their platform as an arm to kind of pushing the WNBA in the corner where they make a decision to where they can make it easy on Caitlin Clark so she can start performing well again. So now we can start attacking wokeism and LGBT and all that stuff. That's all it is. And Caitlin is not doing what they want her to do because she can't. She's not as good as they thought she was. And they want the WNBA to change the league so she can have a leg up on it. Right? She's barely a top 10 at her position. She's barely top 10 at her position. These other point guards are a lot better than her. And the reality is setting in, and that's what they can't get with. The reality is setting in. She's not that good. So it's almost over. There's more. There's more. So this picture right here, that's the still frame that they were showing. You see what a fist. Now look where her shoulder's at. What the video shows is AT's fist hit her shoulder first and slid off her shoulder to her neck very briefly. Then she got up. But this Phoenix Mercury account, which I think was Instagram, maybe even Twitter as well, or X, whatever you want to call it. They tweeted this out, "The want a piece of this," which shows a female basketball player laying on the ground with her hands down toward her waist with a purple jersey on. Keep that in mind, right? The jersey is purple. Her hands are near her waist. Look at the white jersey on Caitlin Clark. Look at her hands up, nowhere near her waist. It's obvious that's not the same. They're not trying to draw this cartoon to depict what happened to Caitlin Clark. But I was watching Sophie Cunningham's podcast after the game, and they mentioned this and talked about how classless the Phoenix Mercury was, and pushed into the narrative that the league is against her and people are after her physically and people are jealous of her and all stuff. And this was just a bad move by the Phoenix Mercury to post this. And then I was listening to the Dan Leopartard podcast or their show, and they said the same thing, but the difference between Sophie Cunningham and Ball is Life and Dan Leopartard is they actually corrected themselves and figured out that this had nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. Listen to how this went down.
Let me take you to the world of the WNBA. That's right. I'm going to take you to the WNBA here, Dominique. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm this big WNBA fan, but I will tell you that because...
Stop. Remember I told y'all, every time they come to talk about Caitlin Clark, they give you this disclaimer. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm the biggest WNBA fan because I'm not. So, note it. You don't watch the league. So everything you about to say after that is hogwash. Once you tell me I don't watch it, but you know what I'm saying? That's just like when someone says, I've never been married, but here's my best marriage advice for you. I've never made $1 million, but let me show you how to get rich. I'm a woman with no kids, but let me show you how to raise a boy into a man. Like, all that stuff is crazy. I don't watch the WNBA, but let me show you how unfair they're being to Caitlin Clark. How do you?
As you know, I also work at ESPN. I'm very aware of what's going on with the WNBA.
How are you very aware of what's going on with the WNBA if you're not the biggest fan and don't watch it? He said, I pay attention a little bit because I work for ESPN. Well, I don't work for ESPN, and I pay attention because I like basketball.
When in past years, I wouldn't have paid any attention.
Not because you love basketball or respect women. Yeah, it's just because you work at ESPN. But go, yeah.
I mean, there are some things that I do like about the WNBA, but for the most part, like the league can kind of be a lightning rod with certain stories, all right?
Yeah.
And so I do pay attention. I do know what's going on. And yesterday, let me start off by showing you this here. And for the audio audience, I will tell you there was a poster that was released yesterday, a 30-year commemorative WNBA poster. And every team is represented on this poster. And it's either an all-time great who played for that team. Like you could see the Minnesota Lynx, Maya Moore is represented.
Right, legends. Got to have legends on there.
And if it's not a legend, they're showing you a current player. Like you see the Dallas Wings right there. It's Paige Beckers.
Ooh.
Well, also in the second row there is the Indiana Fever.
Oh, yeah. They got to have the biggest star that they've ever had in the history of the Fever and possibly in the history of the league, right?
You would think that they would put Caitlin Clark. No, it was Sophie Cunningham.
What?
That they put representing Indiana there. And I don't like to get caught up in all of the Caitlin Clark stuff because
we're about to do it, ain't we?
Well, because this one, I think it's weird. I think it's weird where you are putting out a collector's item,
right.
Okay? Something that you're charging for. Like, hey, buy this 30-year commemorative item. And how would you not have, like, I don't think every decision that's made, needs to be Caitlin Clark here everywhere, Caitlin Clark here, Caitlin Clark here. Like, it is okay to profile other players, right, obviously. But if we're talking about putting out something that you would like to get publicity and certainly like to earn money, is there any reasonable answer as to why Caitlin Clark would not be on the poster?
So the poster came out. It's a poster, celebrating 30 years of the WNBA, and they got some legacy players on it. They even got a failed legacy expansion team called the Soul that lasted a very short time. They had the logo there. They didn't have a player to represent, but the logo was up there. But they was just representing the 30 years. And when they had one player for each team representing. They had Cheryl Swoops for the Rockets. They didn't have, for the Comets, they didn't have Cynthia Cooper. They had some other players that was like big in the WNBA who wasn't on that poster for whatever reason. They chose who they chose. Well, they didn't have CeCe there. They didn't have Caitlin Clark there. But for the Fever, they had Sophie Cunningham. it's kind of hard to kind of figure out what you want to do because it seems like the media and Caitlin Clark fans want everything to go to Caitlin Clark, right? So they probably was thinking about, you know, being a little inclusive and say, hey, you know what, let's put another player. But then they thought about it, was like, we can't put Boston, we can't put Kirsten Mitchell, who's the best player on the team, right? We can't put Aaliyah Boston, who's the third best player on the team. Why? Because they're both black. And if we put black girls on there and not Caitlin Clark, then we're going to get a lot of backlash. So they went and put Sophie Cunningham on there, right? Could they have just threw CC on there? Yeah, they could have. And they probably should have. They probably should put CC on there. But the decision that they made not to put her there, we don't know what the decision is all about. And Jeff Foxworthy is about to explain to you one of the reasons that may be why she's not on there. This is something that they're selling. This is like a poster that they're selling, right? So, and we know Caitlin was with Nike and she has sponsors all over the place and, you know, making so much money off the court, and, you know, her representatives or her representation is probably on a different level than other players. He's going to explain that in a minute, right? So, but he's making a point that the WNBA is doing something weird by not having Caitlin Clark there, and that's his pathway to say that the WNBA is against Caitlin. But listen to this explanation from Jeff.
Possible that Caitlin Clark, who is an enormous star and has lots of value, is like, maybe I don't want to be on this poster. I don't know. You can't rule that out, as Jeremy taught me. I can always fall back on what you can't rule out. You can't rule out that potentially Caitlin Clark is like, nah, don't put me on this poster. I'm selling posters for much more than that. What is the compensation? Like, that's a chance, right? I can understand. I remember the old video games. Michael Jordan wouldn't be in the game, and it was because Michael Jordan was like, no, you pay me more than you pay for the group licensing agreement for all these other players because I'm not these other players. So it's possible that Caitlin Clark is like, I'm not these other players. Don't put me in this if you're going to be selling it. I can make a lot more money elsewhere in my poster. Like, that's the best thing I come up with. Otherwise, it feels kind of awkward. And again, I'm not as much of a WNBA watcher or fan as you, but I do know that Caitlin Clark is a big star.
That's funny that he said, I'm not a big WNBA watcher as you are. But the dude that said all of this said that he wasn't a big WNBA watcher. so Jeff Foxworthy is saying, I'm less of a watcher than you are. So we got a whole panel of dudes that don't watch the league, but are commenting on it in a inflammatory way and going way too deep. So now this is a deep conspiracy that the league won't put Caitlin Clark on the poster. But I like the explanation by Foxworthy. Listen, Michael Jordan was player 99 on every basketball video game because he wouldn't release his name, image, and likeness for them to use it for the game. If you're going to use my name, I better be freaking getting paid. I'm Michael Jordan. And I'm quite sure Caitlin Clark is pulling that same type of class. So we don't know if the WNBA just couldn't get it cleared with Caitlin to even use her picture for them to for the purpose of them selling it. Right, we just don't know that, right? So that's one point. But you know, before I move on, just going back to the Boomer part about him saying that she should leave the league and go to Europe. And when you think about all the media and all the fans that keep saying stuff like this, I remember when she didn't get selected for the Olympic team, all the Caitlin Clark fans said, we're going to boycott the Olympics and not watch so their ratings can be low. So they're going to so if Caitlin can't get what Caitlin fans want her to get, they want to sabotage everything. They want to burn the building down. You know, you get what I'm saying? It's kind of like that that story that's in the Bible where you know, one lady had a baby, but it was another lady who lost her baby and tried to say that the other lady babies was hers. And they went to the judge, who's one of the wisest men ever. He was like, I can tell you real quick who the mother of this baby is, right? So the judgment, once they came to him with the matter, hey, this is my baby. No, this is my baby. And the judge was like, you know, I got something for you. since y'all can't figure out who baby it is, how about I cut the baby in half and you get half and she gets half? And the one mom was like, you know what? I go with it. Basically, if I can't have her, nobody can. If I can't have the baby, nobody can have the baby. And when she said that, the judge was like, give her the baby, the other lady, give her the baby, because only the mother would not agree to something like that. Because once the lady agreed to it, the other lady said, no, just give it to her. So only the mother would say, I would rather the baby be okay than the baby be dead. The other lady was like, I'd rather the baby be dead than have someone else have it. Right. So they gave the baby to the rightful parent, and that was smart by that judge. But basically, I told that story because what Caitlin fans are doing is saying, if Caitlin can't get what she wants, we'll burn the whole WNBA down, and we'll burn everything down. We'll burn down the Fever, we'll burn down the WNBA, we'll burn down the Olympics, whatever the case may be. We're going to sabotage the ratings and do all that stuff, right? So her rookie year, they boycotted the Olympics for the purpose of tanking the ratings because Caitlin wasn't in it. Then last year they said that when Caitlin Clark, her rookie season when she was playing bad, they blamed her teammates and her coach and said they wanted Christy Sides fired because she's not letting Caitlin get the ball enough. Then they said the black players aren't passing the ball to the white players, and they wanted to sabotage the Fever for the sake of Caitlin. Then they said that they don't set screens for Caitlin, and they start calling those players names and all types of stuff, like, just hateful craziness, right? Then every player that fouled her, they attacked them in the media. The All-Star game this year, the fact that she wasn't on the first ballot, she wasn't the number one vote getter, they got mad at that and said, we're not going to vote for any other Fever players except CeCe because Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston had more votes than Caitlin. They got mad and said, we're not voting for Kelsey or Aaliyah anymore. We're only voting for Caitlin because she wasn't the number one vote getter. Not the fact that she wasn't going to make All-Star. She's still going to make All-Star, but she has to have everything. That she has to be the number one vote getter, which is still Aaliyah Boston right now. Right? What else they said that they wanted to tear down? Now they want to boycott the league because she's hurt now. As a matter of fact, these are certified blue check accounts, and they got huge followings, and they're telling all the Caitlin Clark fans, boycott the game, don't attend the game, don't watch it on TV. The Fever front office and coach do not support Caitlin Clark, don't support the Fever. They're telling their people, do not support the Fever, don't watch them, let's tank everything. Fans, don't show up. Caitlin is hurt because of this organization. They're complicit. Let them go back to the days of having 4,000 fans show up for their games. You know what? Don't threaten them with a good time, because I'm pretty sure some of these females, if they could get rid of the racism in the sport, if they had to lose Caitlin with it, I think some of them will sign up for it. And that's not nothing against Caitlin. That's something against racist people. Like if they said, hey, look, if we can get rid of the races, but Caitlin got to go too, and then y'all have less people at y'all games, do y'all want to take it? I think they'll take it. Nobody likes racism. I'm pretty sure they'll take it. What else they say? This will be the lowest rated game in the CeCe era. We're not going to watch in protest of you not protecting her throughout her 3 years. Not my video. Not protecting her. How do you protect the star? How do you protect the player? All right, let's keep going.
So that wasn't the only Caitlin Clark story from yesterday.
It's not me.
So the Fever played last night. And last night, Caitlin Clark, all right, during the game, it was, there was a scramble under the basket. They were playing Phoenix. Phoenix won the game last night. Game was at Indiana. And underneath the basket, Caitlin Clark falls down. And for the video audience here, you could see the still image. Caitlin Clark is on her back underneath the basket. And Alyssa Thomas from Phoenix kind of falls on her. And you know that move, you especially see it in football, like when you're getting up from a pile, where like the defensive lineman will kind of push down on the running back as he's getting up for leverage, but it's like also kind of, hey, I'm also going to push you and make you really uncomfortable. Yeah. And Alyssa Thomas does this to Caitlin Clark, except she does it with her fist in Caitlin Clark's neck. And, you can't really make the excuse that she's just using her for leverage to get up, because nobody gets up from the ground by using their fist, So she's got her fist in Caitlin Clark's neck while she's getting up. I mean, Dominique, it's pretty egregious, right? Like, and no foul was called.
Yeah, I mean, this still image looks very bad. I saw the video this morning. It seemed unnecessary. The thing is, stuff like you mentioned in football and honestly in basketball, like stuff like this happens in sports all the time. I'm careful because I made the point earlier that I don't watch a lot of WNBA. A big game.
He making the point again. I don't watch it, but I'm gonna say all this stuff about it.
Games, the finals, and when there are big matchups that are super hyped, I'll watch it. So I feel like my algorithm, and it might be true of yours and other people's, where my algorithm is right now feels like it's flooded with people going after Caitlin Clark in different ways. So I'm not sure if this is like an event that happens a lot more.
So them not watching, and he's making a good point. Them not watching and them only being tuned in to the stuff that's Caitlin Clark related, mean your algorithm is going to push that stuff to you, and you're only going to see the things like you're not going to see any other players that's getting roughhoused. You're only going to see it from Caitlin. So if you loosely watching or you're just only watching Caitlin games, how can you compare the treatment that she's getting to any other player when you don't watch their games?
Or to her than anyone else, or it just so happens that she's a star, so we're getting a lot of it. So like, I'm
right.
Hesitant.
It could be both. I mean, it could be
I'm
both.
hesitant to like make grand proclamations. That play looked like it was a little bit intentional.
It looks bad, and then so the Phoenix Mercury Twitter account, after the game.
So here's he with this false narrative, right? Listen to how he's talking about this. Listen to the buildup of this whole thing. Like he's trying to, he talked about the 30-year poster that Caitlin wasn't on. Then they talk about the foul not being called. Mind you, on this picture, do you see the ball anywhere near Caitlin? Right? And remember, the video shows that when AT was getting up, her hand slipped off of Caitlin's shoulder, hit her neck, and then that was it. Right? She just got up. And the play kept going because the ball actually went out to the Fever player and they kicked it out to a three-point shooter. The three-point shot went up. They missed it. Rebound, fast break. Like all of that happened fast. So the ball is not even near to where that contact is happening. So you can't blame a referee if he didn't see it or she didn't see it. Every foul is not going to be seen. Every foul is not going to be seen. Just like every foul is not going to make social media rounds to turn it into something racial or hateful. But listen to how he talked about this cartoon version that we're seeing the Phoenix Mercury put on a social media account. And keep in mind, the jersey is purple. Caitlin Clark's jersey is white. The Phoenix Mercury colors are purple. Keep that in mind.
They tweeted out like well, I don't want to say anime, like a cartoon sketch of Caitlin Clark on the ground, crying on the ground.
He said this is a picture of Caitlin Clark in a purple jersey crying on the ground. Why does he believe it's Caitlin Clark? Because some Twitter account said it was, and Sophie Cunningham on her podcast said it was. The first of all is the Phoenix Mercury tweeting it. The person on the floor has on a purple Phoenix Mercury jersey, and it says "Dewana piece of this," which obviously is a play on Dewana Bonner's name. So if you see Dewana Bonner's name in the caption and a player on the ground with a purple jersey tweeted out by the Phoenix Mercury who colors are purple, why would you automatically think this is Caitlin Clark and they're making fun of her?
And the caption above it says, "Dewana piece of this." And DeWanna Bonner also plays for Phoenix. DeWanna Bonner is married to Alyssa Thomas, who is the one who, kind of punched down on Caitlin Clark's throat. And it's like, it's getting really hard for me to dance around this now. That's a
Now, see how easily those narratives can be pushed, and now it convinced Jeff Foxworthy, who was on the fence in the middle of this thing. Now he's once you connect all these dots, you see how he tried to connect the dots in a way. DeWanna Bonner is married to Alyssa Thomas. Alyssa Thomas is the one who punched her in the neck. I mean, come on, man. We see a picture of Caitlin Clark giving Alyssa Thomas some neck. Or some throat, however you want to say it. And this has nothing to do with DeWanna Bonner. They tried to piece that together real quick. And I can't believe Jeff Foxworthy is agreeing to this.
Weird tweet.
I'm doing my dance. I can't really like that. When the
Kind of like I danced earlier.
Yeah, just exactly like that. The organization tweeting something like that out is really uncommon.
That's weird that they tweeted that out. And yeah, Tony.
It's like when Ndamukong Suh stepped on the ankle or whoever it was of the Packers player, or on his calf or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the Lions sending out like, hey, watch your step.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it's like. It's really weird. There's this flagrant moment from the game last night, which may have been intentionally hostile. It went uncalled, and the team is making fun of the player who took a fist to the throat. It's strange. And then after the game, Stephanie White, who is the coach of the Indiana Fever, here she was post-game.
All right, before we say what Stephanie White said, right, I want y'all to look at this, right? So in the comment section, how many of y'all think that Phoenix Mercury is trying to say that this is Caitlin Clark? If you think that the Phoenix Mercury is saying this is Caitlin Clark, put a 1 in the chat. If you think this is about DeWanna Bonner, put a 2 in the chat. I'm very curious to know, are y'all convinced? Okay, Wody Mac said 2. Okay, cool. Horizon said 2. So no 1s, right? But this is what they pushing out there. Well, here's the picture that they was depicting. Look at DeWanna Bonner in the red circle with her hands by her waist. If you see the jersey number on the cartoon, it's jersey number 24. And this is the same game with DeWanna Bonner. It looked like she got an and one or got a foul or something. She was screaming on the ground because she got the foul. This is 100% about DeWanna Bonner. Had nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. 100% about DeWanna Bonner. But this is what they wanted to push out there. Now, you're going to hear once someone from their marketing team correct them and tell them, hey, this has been debunked. Like, this is actually DeWanna Bonner. And you're going to hear them try to still fit it into being Caitlin Clark. Like, they didn't want to accept that this is DeWanna Bonner. It was really funny. But before we get there, let's hear what Stephanie White was saying in the post game.
We have a generational talent and a WNBA superstar who had 2 cheap shots right there that weren't called. And I just say, again, absolutely unacceptable.
She's mad. So she started it by saying we have a generational talent, which means that we should be treating generational talents different. They should be getting more calls and all this stuff, right? And I'm trying to figure out, if Caitlin Clark's a generational talent, what are the females above her that are better than her? What are the 15 or 16 females that are ranked above? I got something right on my chin too. What are the females ranked above her? What is Asia Wilson? If Caitlin's probably the 20th best player in the league, what is the first best player in the league? If Caitlin's a generational talent and the 20th best player, what is Asia? If Asia can handle this physicality and still score, win MVPs and win championships, and Caitlin can't, which one is really the generational talent? So we keep throwing this generational talent out. Like what is that supposed to get you? You're the 20th best player in the league. What are you expecting? Do we have to get it to player 19 through 1? Like, it's 19 girls better than you. What are they supposed to get? If you're generational at 20, what are the 19 girls in front of you supposed to get?
Let me take you to the world of the WNBA.
All right. So later on in the in that clip though, like I said, the marketing team came out and was like, "Hey, I think y'all got it wrong. This is they're saying on social media that this is DeWanna Bonner," and then they showed them the picture and they was like, "Oh no, but what's the number? Is DeWanna Bonner number 22? Because that's 22 on the jersey, but the jersey is purple. But what the number is?" And they zoomed in and it was like, "Oh, it's 24. What number is DeWanna Bonner? She's 24. Oh, but you sure it's not CC? No, it's not CC." And then to their credit, they said, "Okay, we were wrong." And then that was the end of the segment. Okay, we was wrong. At least they did that. Sophie Cunningham and these other accounts that's pushing this picture out here and this idea that the Mercury tweeted this out to make fun of Caitlin. They're not doing their due diligence. They're just pushing stuff out there for people to, push this hate narrative. Right? Wody Mack said, "You can't touch Stewart, Asia. They have 10 plus free throws. It's a standard set bump. Asia and Stewie, you get a foul." Asia is the best player in the league. Stewie is the 3rd or 4th best player in the league. Caitlin's number 20. Why do you want Caitlin to get Asia treatment? Explain why Caitlin gets Asia treatment. You want Caitlin to get Asia treatment, but Asia is the best player in the league by far. Caitlin's number 20. Right? I got an explanation though. I got an explanation about this refereeing, right? See, the difference between me is that I watch the WNBA and I watch all the players and all the teams that can play. I might not if a team actually playing bad basketball and they don't have a player that actually can hoop, I probably wouldn't watch it. Like I wouldn't have watched the Chicago Sky until Sydney Taylor started playing the way she was. I didn't want to watch Skylar Diggins, even though she was really good when she first came in. Like the way these guards are now, like Sydney Taylor, Sonia Citron, Paige Beckers, Caitlin Clark, and all these girls, the way they are in their first year, second year. That's how Skylar was when she first came in the league. But now she's older and she's a vet. And the newer version of these guards are coming in, and the newer version is better than the old version. Like, Skylar is the original, young buck that can hoop and hold her own. But now she's phasing out and we got a new set of girls, right? So watching Sydney Taylor was, I love that. I still like Skylar, but she wasn't making me watch the games. Sydney Taylor made me watch the game. And now that Carmelo is unlocked, Cardoso is unlocked, and the way she's playing, I always thought she had a decent game, good footwork, nice touch around the rim. If she put it all together, it's fun to watch. So now Chicago is actually playing good basketball. I will watch Chicago, but that's one of the teams I probably wouldn't have watched 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I will watch them now. But I'm definitely watching the Phoenix, the Minnesota Lynx because of Olivia Miles. I was watching them last year because of Nafisa. Watching Nafisa was like poetry in motion. Now I get to watch Olivia, and guess what? Nafisa get to come back, so I get to watch both of them. So I'm definitely watching them. I'm definitely watching Asia. I love watching her shoot mid-range jump shots like Michael Jordan is insane. And being a center, one of the biggest girls in the league, just watching her play and then her defense. Oh man, I just love that jump shot, man. Like she don't have to go and get hers all the way at the rim. She's the only big that has developed a guard like mid-range. She catch and shoot like a guard. It's so fun to watch, man. And she's super athletic too. I love watching her play. I like watching the Dream play. They play defense. I like watching. Who else? I love watching the Dallas Wings play with Paige and AZ. I love what AZ is doing. I used to get frustrated by Enrique, but now she's playing a little bit better basketball than what she was playing when she was by herself. I like James coming off the bench, the left-handed guard. She's good too. And I definitely like Jessica Shepard. So I like watching the Wings. The Sparks. I haven't watched the Sparks yet this year. And now that Plum is down, I actually did watch the Sparks the other day, but Plum wasn't playing. But I like Ray Burrell. I really like Cameron Brink. But sometimes she don't assert herself enough. But I like her on the defense. Man, I like Cameron Brink. And I'm starting to love the Storm with those two Twin Towers and Flage. So it's a lot of teams I like watching, right? But my point is this. I watch the games. I'm a fan of the basketball league. I'm a fan of basketball. I'm a fan of these women. I watch the game. On top of the fact that I study basketball. I love it. And I study the things around basketball. So I understand when we get into these type of conversations around basketball, I got an understanding that a lot of people probably don't have. Like, I actually do my research, right? Like, it's important for me to read this book. Here's a referee, this book, Personal Foul, by Tim Donaghy. Here's a referee telling all the secrets about what's going on with the officials and what's going on with gambling. And now we see them partner with Vegas. It smells bad. It's not a good look. But I'm reading these books, right? I want to know about the $40 million slave. I want to know about the connections with how millionaires and billionaires who own teams actually view these players, right? Enough said on that. But this is stuff you got to educate yourself on, right? I was very interested in what Craig Hodges had to say about the NBA. A player that was blackballed, basically for his faith and basically for him going in the White House and telling George Bush he needed to do something, putting a letter in there, right? Read that. You learn a lot about the commissioners and you learn a lot about the league and all this stuff. Like you learn a lot from these things. These players are telling the stuff. Here's another player that was blackballed, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. Like, you have to read these things. Like, you have to familiarize yourself. If you're going to be a person that's really going to follow a sport, you got to know what you're following and what you're seeing, because everything is not what is made out to be. Now, getting back to the Caitlin Clark and the referee not giving her calls. Now, it's no secret that Caitlin Clark is horrible with her mouth and how she speaks to these referees, how she speaks to her coaching staff, how she speaks to her opponent. She's a potty mouth. She has a bad attitude. She's unhinged, out of control, unbecoming behavior of a leader. And these referees are human beings that don't want to be showed up and don't want to be disrespected. And Caitlin Clark talks to them like she's on a higher ground than them. And I've been watching her this year, the last couple of games, and I got to be honest. The fouls that they're calling on Caitlin Clark has been ridiculous. It's like they're trying to send a message. She's playing the best defense she can play and getting in position, and they're calling her for some ticky-tack fouls. And I'm like, how? Now, the fouls they don't call for her don't be fouls. She be flopping. So I'm not talking about her getting to the line. She got to be able to handle that physicality. She got to learn how to handle that and get through it. But what they're doing to her on the defensive end is not giving her the benefit of the doubt, and they're giving her ticky-tack fouls. And I was like, I see that. Why they're doing it, right? And from the book Personal Foul, and you can find on his YouTube page him talking about it. Donaghy was talking about what they did to Allen Iverson. And he said Allen Iverson did something to Steve Javie And I read it. And I started the paragraph where it says, and then there was the ongoing feud between Javi and the 76ers superstar Allen Iverson. The rift was so bad, the Philadelphia general manager, Billy King, often called the league office to complain about Javi's treatment of Iverson during the game. Iverson was eventually traded to Denver. And in the first game against his former team, he was tossed out after 2 technicals. After Iverson implied Javi had a grudge against him, saying, I thought I got fouled on that play. And I said, I thought that he was calling the game personal. And he threw me out. His fuse is real short anyway, and I should have known that I couldn't say anything anyway. It's been something personal with me and him since I got in the league. This was just the perfect game for him to try to make me look bad. The league fined Iverson $25,000 for his comments, but most of the league referees thought the punishment was too lenient and were upset he wasn't suspended. As a result, we collectively decided to dispense a little justice of our own, sticking it to Allen Iverson whenever we could. Now, let me stop there. So the referees, all in cahoots with each other, felt like this superstar Allen Iverson was able to show us up, do some things, talk about us in the media, and the league took it easy on him with just a $25,000 fine. So the referees as a group decided, hey, we go stick it to Iverson, right? So listen to this. Shortly after the Javi Iverson incident, I worked the Jazz Nuggets contest in Denver on January 6, 2007 during the pregame meeting. My fellow referees, Billy Fryer, he throwing names out there, Gary Zelensky, agreed that we were going to strictly enforce the Palmer rule against Iverson. Now, Iverson crossover, he would put his hand under that ball a little bit too low and palm it a little bit, and they started attacking him with that. So palming the ball was something Iverson loved to do, but if he so much as came close to a palm, we were going to blow the whistle. Obviously, our actions were in direct retaliation for Iverson's rant against Javi. True to form, I immediately excused myself and made an important phone call. So he knew that, hey, if we're going to be doing this to Iverson, we know Philly's probably going to lose. So he went and told his mob friends, put their money on Denver that night. Sticking to our pregame pledge, each of us whistled Iverson for palming in the first quarter. We all wanted it in on the fun. The violation seemed to affect Iverson's rhythm, and he played terrible that night, shooting 5 of 19 and 5 turnovers. After getting repeatedly whistled all night long, Iverson approached me in an act of submission. So they wanted Iverson to feel the heat and the punishment for showing up Javi, and they probably was going to keep it going, but they said Iverson came to him in an act of submission. We want you to submit a little bit. How long am I going to be punished for Javi? Iverson knew exactly what they was doing. He said, man, how long? He went humbly and was like, man, how long y'all gonna do this, dog? How long am I gonna get punished for Javi? And Donnie, he said, don't know what you're talking about, Allen. I actually, but in actuality, I knew he would continue to pay for this indiscretion for at least another couple of weeks. For the next several games, I picked against Denver, knowing that Iverson was growing increasingly frustrated by the payback he was given. I scored on 2 of the next 3 games. I spoke to Javi after my game with Iverson, and we all had a good laugh. He expressed a hope that everyone on the staff would follow suit and stick it to Allen Iverson the way that we had. Soon afterward, referee Scott Foster, there goes Scott Foster, had a Denver game and went easy on Iverson, generating a strong response from referee Benny Fryer, who sent him an email to Foster accusing him of not being a team player. So the referee that didn't go along with this and actually took it easy on Iverson, the other referees got mad at him for it and said that he wasn't a team player. The entire Iverson saga was one episode out of a dozen more just like it occurring in the NBA arenas across the country every single night. You just had to know what you were looking for and where to look. It was all about relationships. So he's talking about how referees, when you really think that you can just show them up and talk to them any kind of way and do whatever the case you go do, we got another way that we can come at you. And I really honestly think Caitlin Clark has said so much stuff to the referees, and Caitlin Clark fans has said so much stuff about the referees, and Stephanie White or whoever's coaching Caitlin has said so much. Like if you listen to that Stephanie White rant, she scolded and talked to the media about the referees like she was an authority. Like everyone that's connected to Caitlin Clark talks like they are the authority figure in the WNBA. Like they talk down to people. Sophie Cunningham talks down to people like she's up here. So does Caitlin. So does Stephanie Wright. How dare she get on there and talk to the media about the refs that way, like she's talking down to them? Enough is enough. It's disrespectful. All this. We got a generational talent. Like, what the hell are you talking about? So the more they keep doing that, I think the referees is like, y'all gonna have to get in y'all rightful place and respect the referees. So until Caitlin Clark shut up and stop berating the refs and looking for calls and doing the sucker salute, how's that on me? Like all of this, if you don't just shut up and play, these referees are probably going to keep giving you that Allen Iverson treatment, right? They're going to keep doing it. So I think it's a tug of war of Caitlin Clark and her people on her side feels like that they own the NBA, and the referees are trying to show her that you don't. And as soon as she figured it out, I think the better. As soon as she figured it out, I think the better. But all right, y'all. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure y'all hit the like button on y'all way out. Make sure y'all hit the share button. I catch y'all on the next episode. Peace.